Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Mountain Vista football game. Tonight we've got the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles taking on the Chaparral Wolverines in a 5A football clash. So coming into this game tonight, the Chaparral Wolverines are 4-2. Mountain Vista Golden Eagles is sitting at 3-3. So, Aaron, what do you expect to be happening in this game with the respective offenses?
Well, we know that Mountain Vista is a very pass-heavy offense, and going into this game, Chaparral is not pass-heavy. They run the ball a lot, using Dylan Smithwick as their main running back.
Yes, indeed. And then on the Mountain Vista side, of course, there's Tristan Smith and Aaron Albrechtson, the two deep threat wide receivers, and we've got a few running backs on that team as well, Colton Whiteside and Noah Hicks. And then the quarterback situation right now, can you tell us a little bit about that, Aaron?
Yeah, early on in the year, Wetzel became the starting quarterback because the starting quarterback got hurt.
Yeah, Campbell Lancaster took a torn rotator cuff muscle, and he's been out for the past few games. He was looking to target a return in this game, but it seems like he's not going to be back for this game. He'll probably be back for the next few games. So for now, Caden Wetzel's going to retain his job as the starting quarterback, and we're going to have to look and see how he's going to handle that kind of that responsibility.
For the last few games, Caden Wetzel has offense and the captain of the offense pretty well.
Yeah, I would say he's definitely responded well under pressure, especially considering towards the beginning of the year he was demoted from the starting quarterback position, and they started training him to be a free safety because they felt like that was a more valuable area of his game. And instead now they've changed it back because they realize that they need a quarterback now. So Caden Wetzel has to kind of build himself back up into that starting job.
Yeah.
And then about Chaparral's offense, we know that they've got an interesting situation at quarterback as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Peyton Ross is the starting quarterback in this game. I'll tell you after we do the national anthem. So back to Peyton Ross. He is their backup quarterback in for Connor Ruth, and seems to have done a very good job. He seems to be an all-purpose kind of guy. He is their new quarterback. Before that, he was their star wide receiver. He is also their punter, their punt returner, and the kick returner. He seems to do everything.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a good starting job locked down here. He's got quarterback, running back, punt returner, kick returner, and punter all in one.
And free safety.
And free safety, yeah. And he's been doing a pretty good job at all of that. So, I mean, it's definitely interesting.
And he's only a sophomore.
Indeed. Well, we've got the Mountain Vista and Chaparral captains coming out for the coin toss here. So, yeah, how do you predict this game to go before we get started here? How do you think that this game is going to play out?
I think it'll be a close game with Vista's throwing offense. They can keep up with the points, but that Chaparral will score a lot of points with their running offense and their running attack. What do you think?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to see how the Mountain Vista passing attack deals with Chaparral's shutdown defense. They've got 26 sacks through 6 games, which is one of the best records in Colorado right now. And they've got a good number of interceptions. I believe it's around 8 right now. So I would look for a definite defensive domination at some points from Chap, and it's going to be a tough task for Mountain Vista's offense to try and break that down.
Do you think Mountain Vista will go away from their roots and start to run the ball and maybe confuse Chaparral?
I think you kind of have to in this situation because the old adage, the run always opens up the pass. So I think they have to be able to establish the run game at least somewhat here to be enough of a threat so that way the passing lanes open up enough to be able to gain ground through the air.
That seems to be how Chaparral gets most of their receiving yards, getting that run game to go early.
Definitely, yeah. Their top wide receiver, number 1, Tizell Lewis, is definitely been the highlight of that passing attack so far. He's got 13 catches, but he's got almost 300 yards receiving.
Yeah, that's a really high average per catch, almost 30 or just under 30 yards per catch. So they seem to get that play action pass going and confusing the defense. And Vista really needs to watch out for Tizell Lewis and the other wide receivers down the field when they get into the open field.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, we're just about started here at Shea Stadium, so we will be back with the kickoff to open this game as the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles take on the Chaparral Wolverines.
Back to receive for Mountain Vista, number 7, Tristan Smith.
Tristan Smith is back deep to receive the kick from the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles.
Indeed, he's definitely the fastest wide receiver on this team, so it makes sense for him to be the kick and punt return specialist. And we've seen him return a few so far this season, so it's always a danger to make sure to watch out for that because he could break it out. And they're going to squib kick it here, and they're just going to kneel. And Mountain Vista's offense will come out and get the ball on the 35-yard line to start this drive, which is definitely some favorable field position.
Yeah, maybe they definitely need to start with the run game to get this going.
Yeah, I would definitely look for a run from Colton Whiteside, number 9 out here. If he can get started and get hot in this game, then I would look for Mountain Vista to dominate this game, especially on the offensive side of things.
Watch out for Tristan Smith in the slot.
4 wide receivers set here, only Whiteside up with number 3, Caden Wetzel in the backfield there. And they're going to throw it. Looks right. He tried to hit his man, number 7, Tristan Smith, there on the little out route towards the sideline, but thrown a little bit behind him, and he just couldn't get to it.
Press coverage by Chaparral really shut down that route.
Definitely.
They're only having one deep, and that is the quarterback, Peyton Ross. So maybe Mountain Vista has to go for some deep shots, which is not what they usually do.
Another 4 receivers set here. 3 on the right side this time, and Caden West is going to roll out, throws it right again, and it's dropped by number 85, Aaron Albrechtson. Nice try there for Albrechtson. Once again, headed towards the sideline, but just couldn't get a grip on that ball, and ball was out of his hands. And it's going to be 3rd down and 10 here for the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles, and they really need to get some offensive rhythm going here.
Like you said before the game, the Chaparral shutdown defense really in effect in the early goings of this game.
Once again, 3 wide receivers out on the right side, 4 set, and Whiteside in the backfield still. Oh, low snap. Wetzel dives on it, and he manages to get the ball back, thankfully, but that was a close one there for Mountain Vista, and they're going to have to bring out the punt team.
That is not the way you want to start your first offensive drive.
Yeah, definitely not. 2 incomplete passes and then a bumbled snap there. And Chaparral's going to look to retain this momentum on the offensive side of things here, looking to keep up that momentum that they've got.
Low
A
snap
really low
again.
snap. It's a decent punt, though. And it's going to be touched at about the 26-yard line. And Chaparral is going to come out to take control on their first offensive drive, sporting a quarterback who doesn't really ever play quarterback.
Yeah, here we will see Peyton Ross for the first time of the game, and he just seems to be able to do everything. We don't know too much about him at quarterback because he doesn't play that much, but on his ability to play pretty much every other position on the field, he'll probably be pretty well.
He's definitely a quarterbacking unknown. He's only thrown 10 passes so far this season, so he's going to come out here and start this game. And we're going to have to see how he adapts to his new position here. Looks like a 2 receiver set here for Shap. 2 tight ends blocking, 1 running back in the backfield. I bet that's Dylan Smithwick. And also a fullback here, so it's going to be an I formation. Play action
pass, looking for Lewis deep.
Going deep for Lewis here, and just over. And it looks like there's a flag on the field, and it looks like going to be defensive pass interference here on Mountain Vista.
Yeah, the defender seemed to be all over Tyzel Lewis's back. That's number 22, Chrissa.
Yeah, that was there was definitely some contact there. I don't know if I would have thrown the flag there because it looked like he did have a chance to catch that one, and he had it in his hands before he dropped it, but you can definitely see why the ref would call that one, and it's going to be a 15-yard gain here. So Shap is going to get a 1st down and 10 off of a defensive pass interference call at the Chaparral 41-yard line. 3 wide receivers set this time. And they're going to pitch it out left. Smithwick finds a hole, and that's going to be 10 yards.
That is a strong 1st down from Dylan Smithwick. Really good blocking on the offensive line by Chaparral. Got Smithwick to the outside.
Oh, excuse me, that's actually number 5, Carnell Lewis, out there rushing the ball for Chaparral currently. It's definitely interesting that they're not using number 30, Dylan Smithwick, considering he's been their most apparent rusher so far this year, but looks like they're going to try and go with someone else for the time being. Another handoff there to Carnell Lewis, and he breaks a bunch of tackles, and he's just short of another 1st down here. Chaparral's definitely killing it on the ground game so far, and we know that's an area that Mountain Vista have struggled to defend heavily so far this season.
Seems like that's going to be one-sided tonight. Chaparral has a very good offensive line, creating holes for whoever the running back may be.
Yeah, and it seems like Mountain Vista is still carrying on their problems of not being able to efficiently tackle, which is definitely a worrying problem going forward here.
Again, lining up in the I formation.
Tight end shifts left. 2 receivers set, and it's going to be a handoff to Lewis up the middle, and he's going to break another few tackles here. And that's another 1st down.
Now they're at the 31-yard line. They've switched the field position mainly because of that penalty.
Yeah, the penalty was definitely a good start for this drive for them. On the play action, you want to see what you can do with that play action pass, and to get pass interference on that one is definitely valuable because it gives you free yards and it helps, ease the tension a little bit when you get a good play on your first play on offense.
Definitely, the new quarterback Peyton Ross they're taking the heat off of him with the running game being so effective right now.
Yeah, and I would definitely look to expect that because they don't want him to throw too much considering he's not really a quarterback. Another handoff up the middle here for Carnell Lewis. But this time he is stopped, and he only gets about 2 yards on that one.
That was a really good stop by the Mountain Vista defensive line.
In on this stop. Number 32, Ryland O'Donnell. 32.
Well, just about 9 minutes left to go in this first quarter here, and Chaparral's moving the ball pretty well on offense. We're going to have to see if Mountain Vista can stop them. Looks like they're going to go to shotgun here with a double back set. And play action again. Rolls out right. And the pass is well over the head of the receiver there, and that's going to be incomplete.
Vista had very good coverage on the receiver there. He was completely tied up, and the quarterback had no option but to throw the ball away over the receiver's head.
Yeah, and I mean, that definitely shows some of the inexperience from number 3 Peyton Ross there at quarterback. That was definitely not a very pretty throw, we'll say.
Indeed.
And it definitely makes sense to see them try and limit his throws if that's the kind of ball he's going to be tossing this game. Another play action, rolling out left this time, and goes short. And he's got some blocking. That's another first down there for number 81, Nick Miles, the tight end.
Yeah, they seem to use their tight ends really well, whether it's blocking on the offensive line to get that running game going or to roll out on a play action pass to get some yards.
Yeah, I would definitely look to see those tight ends being utilized in those kind of play action, short passing opportunities to try and limit Peyton Ross's hard throwing, you know, to try and make sure that the throws that he does have to make are pretty easy, short gains. And I mean, when you can turn it up the field and get like 12 yards like that, I mean, it's a good strategy. First and 10 here on the 14-yard line, and there's going to be a penalty here. Looks to be possibly a false start on Chaparral.
Yeah, that seems to be an offensive penalty. Oh, no, it is defensive penalty.
Defensive. Offsides on Mountain Vista.
It is a 5-yard penalty there. Now, inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal.
Yep, 1st and 5 on the 9-yard line here. And do you think Chaparral will be able to punch it in here?
Yeah, they'll probably use their running game still, only using 2 wide receivers out.
Definitely. Another heavy set here. No fullback this time.
2 tight ends on the play.
Arnell, handoff to the left side, gets through the hole. And that's a touchdown for the Wolverines.
This is just what we expected. At the beginning of the game, we said that the running game for Chaparral has to be really strong, and they are really strong. And throughout this drive, I think only 4 or 5 rushes, and they went the distance of the field.
Yeah, definitely. Well, 8:35 to go in this first quarter here. Chaparral is probably likely about to be up 7-0 here on the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles. And now for the Golden Eagles offense. Whoa. Watch PAT, but it somehow still makes it into the uprights. That was interesting. But it is going to be 7-0 to the Wolverines here. And coming out for the Mountain Vista offense this drive, what are you going to look for them to do? Do you think that they're going to try and run the ball more to take some pressure off Wetzel, or do you think they're going to continue trying to pass it?
I think they have to. On the last drive, Wetzel was 0 for 2, and then the missed snap that he just had to dive on. So even on 1st and 10 to start off the game, they didn't run, which is very unexpected. And they really have to get the run game going to take the pressure off Caden Wetzel, because we know that he's not the normal quarterback and that he is just filling in for Lancaster.
Definitely. Whenever you're the backup quarterback, I would always look for your coach and your offensive coordinator to call plays for you that would help ease the pressure on you, considering the fact that you're not the typical starter.
Chaparral may be looking to squib kick it again, avoiding Tristan Smith's killing speed to take it all the way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's probably a good idea here. Chaparral going to kick it off again here, and it's going to be another squib kick. That one's going to go deep, goes past Albrechtson to Smith, who bobbles it, and Albrechtson recovers.
That's a really bad field position to start off their second drive. On a squib kick, it went to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, Albrechtson had it go right through his hands there, and then Smith also had it go through his hands. So definitely seems to be a rusty start for the Mountain Vista team here. And we're going to have to see how they deal with this little bit of rustiness on the offensive side. Coming out for their second drive here in another 4 wide receiver set here.
You see what's in the shotgun.
Takes the snap, hands it off up the middle. That's number 12, Noah Hicks. And he tries to give the defender the stiff arm, but he goes down after a gain of only about a yard there.
Chaparral collapsed on Noah Hicks there, so he couldn't get any more yards. That only is a 2-yard gain, so now it comes up to around 2nd and 8.
Well, same formation here. Wetzel giving a little order to his offensive lineman.
Keep on having 3 to the right side. Williams on the outside, and Albertson and Smith on the slot.
Well, just under 8 minutes here. 2nd and 9 on the 18-yard line. Wetzel drops back, pressure, but he gets it off, and it's overthrown there. Looking for number 80, Johnny Evans, but couldn't find him.
Number 80, Johnny Evans.
Wetzel seems to be rushing his passes. He wasn't even open when the time he threw him.
Well, I don't really blame him, considering I think that was definitely a showcase of some of the Chaparral defense's pressure. That's what's gotten them 26 sacks in 6 games so far.
Wetzel seems pressured before the snap.
Yeah, it looked like there was an edge rusher coming off there unblocked, and can't really do much about what you're going to do in the pocket when there's someone bearing down on you that quickly. So you kind of just have to heave it up and hope for the best. Wetzel looking right, and that one's tipped. And not going to get anywhere, really. Wetzel had a man in his face there, and he tried to throw it towards number 15 there, Cameron Williams, but just couldn't get it off, got it tipped. And it's going to be 4th and 9 here. They're going to have to punt again.
That's another 3 and out by the Vista offense. This really is not the way to start a game. What do you think is the way to fix this problem?
Well, I think right now you definitely need to spice up that running game a bit. Other than that, really, I think it's a matter of giving your quarterback more time in the pocket to be able to make his reads and get off a quality pass to an open receiver. But that's going to have to wait for the next drive here. Chaparral's going to come back out for offense.
Chaparral here starting on the 38-yard line. It's a really good field position compared to what Vista has gotten throughout this game.
Yeah, Vista started their first drive on their 35, which is definitely a good spot, but Chaparral so far has definitely had the better field position. But at the same time, that's not so much of an excuse because they've just been able to move the ball better. Well, 1st and 10 here on the 38-yard line. 7:33 to go in this first quarter. Chaparral still up 7-0. Back in the I formation. 2 wide receivers. Tight end motions left. And handoff to Cardell Lewis. He's going to take it around the right side, and that's going to be about a 4-yard gain.
Vista ran man-to-man defense, and when they did the tight end switch, they moved a defender over to the other side, so misdirection by Lewis really was effective for a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, and especially against this Mountain Vista run defense, which, as we know, is not the greatest. So especially those kinds of trick run plays can definitely hurt them sometimes. 2nd and 6 here. Both receivers on the left side this time, and they're going to pitch it left to Cardell. And he doesn't get anything, maybe about a yard there. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down for Chaparral here.
Do you think they stick to their roots and go to the running game, or do you think they use their only 2 receivers and go to the pass game?
Well, I would look for probably a play action pass. Definitely another short route to try and make sure that Peyton Ross doesn't have to make any tough throws deep or anything. So I would look for a play action pass on this play, but who knows, they might just try and run it again, considering the success they've had so far.
3 tight ends to the left side.
Yeah, fullback has moved up to the tight end line, and they motion both tight end and fullback to the right. Vista shifts accordingly. Handoff to Cardell up the middle, and he's just about a yard short here, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Seems like Chaparral may be going for it on 4th down.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely going for it here. 4th down in inches, and they're going to try and quarterback sneak it, and he didn't get it. He did not get that. He was just short on the quarterback sneak there, and Mountain Vista's going to get the ball in great field position now.
Yeah, this Vista really has to take advantage of his great field position, unlike what they've been doing in the first 2 drives.
Well, what do you think of that call? Do you think that was a coach call, or do you think Peyton Ross himself just kind of took the initiative there?
Seems like it was a coach call. Peyton Ross went to the sideline, and then he came back into his huddle and really quick got set and tried to catch Vista off guard, but they were ready for the QB sneak.
Definitely. Well, 3 wide receiver bunch on the right for Caden Wetzel. Colton Whiteside back in as the single back in the shotgun. And Shap is definitely loading the line here. They've only got 1 safety back. Oh, Play action. Down to the left side. Oh, and it looks like he's got it there. That's number 85, Johnny no, that's number 80, Johnny Evans.
That was a great pass by Caden Wetzel, threw it right in the place that it had to be. And through this drive, we see that the Chaparral defense has really had an effect on Caden Wetzel being in the shotgun the entire game, not even just this drive.
Definitely. It looked like it was almost picked off for a minute there, but definitely a great catch by Johnny Evans. As we know, he's definitely more of a possession receiver than a speed guy, but he's able to get a good catch there. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout here. Mountain Vista's going to call a timeout. Looks like they're going to try and figure out what they're going to do on offense now. Well, 5:36 to go in this first quarter. 1st and 10 for the Golden Eagles on the 29-yard line. Chaparral still leading them 7-0, and we'll be right back.
Vista now has a 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. First time in, this is the first drive that they're in the Chaparral territory.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to bunch up with a 3 wide receiver set on the close sideline for the 2nd time in a row here.
Man-to-man coverage by Chaparral.
Definitely. Still only 1 safety back, but we're going to have to see if Mountain Vista is going to try to exploit that coverage. Wetzel's pointing out some of the linebackers, giving his line some instructions. Takes a snap. Bubble screen there to Smith. Oh, who's leveled. And it looks like it's going to be a loss of about 3 on that one.
Chaparral had some pressure coming in from the right side on Caden Wetzel and seemed to rush Wetzel before Smith was even ready for the pass.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to relieve some of the pressure on Wetzel there with a quick pass, but they were ready for it, and they just took out Tristan Smith like pretty much as soon as he got the ball. So 2nd and 13 here. Same set. Looks like they brought in Noah Hicks as the back. Wetzel looking right. Throws deep. Cameron Williams makes the catch.
That is a big gain for the Vista offense, and that'll move the chains. It's 1st down at the 15-yard line.
Yeah. It seems like Chaparral's corners are being pretty easily exploited here. I mean, these are pretty tight coverages that they're throwing into with Wetzel, but it seems like the receivers are just straight up beating the corners in terms of actually getting their hands on the ball.
Caden Wetzel's putting the ball exactly where it needs to be for these receivers to only have a play on the ball and not the corners.
It looks like another timeout here. This time it's going to be on Chaparral. Well, Mountain Vista definitely moving the ball a lot better now with this 3rd offensive drive here. So do you look for them to try and establish the running game now that they've got the passing game going, or do you think they're going to keep leaning on this passing game to move them down the field?
They may use the running game just a little bit, but their pass game is now working, and so I think they'll stick to that, and their running game just wasn't getting them anything, only 2 yards in the game so far.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be hard for them to get this running game going, considering how fearsome Chaparral's defensive line and linebackers are. But I would look for them to start trying to establish a running game soon, just to be able to complement that passing game.
Do you think in the red zone, do you think Vista will use the run game a little bit more?
I would look for it at least once or twice, but I think for right now they're going to try and get closer to the goal line before they start really leaning on that run game.
Noah Hicks is the back next to Wetzel.
Yep. 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line here. 4:44 to go in this first quarter. Wetzel takes the snap, and it's going to be a play action. Looking for Cameron Williams, who's got it. And it looks like it's going to be a touchdown, and it is. Well then, really great toe-tapping catch by Cameron Williams there, number 15. Beats his corner again on that right side as the farthest out receiver there on the sideline. Manages to toe tap his way in. And that's a great play for Mountain Vista.
Phillip Green was in coverage on both those last two pass plays, and he just got exploited by Cameron Williams and by Carson Wetzel. Cameron
Williams.
Yeah, my bad. Cameron Williams, and he just gets his hands on the ball before Phillip Green does.
Yeah, definitely great pass there for Mountain Vista. And with this PAT, Mountain Vista is once again level with the Chaparral Wolverines here, 7-7, with 4:41 to go in this first quarter here.
That was a great offensive drive by the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles with their explosive pass offense, and they didn't even use their number one, Tristan Smith, that much.
Especially considering the fact that those the previous two drives were definitely a sign of some rust on the offensive side of the ball there for Vista. But that was a really good drive, managed to exploit the cornerback matchups and gets a good touchdown out of it. Well, we're going to be looking to see how Chaparral reacts on offense now. Coming back, they were stopped on a 4th down and about inches, I would say. Try for a first down there, quarterback sneak by Peyton Ross, but he wasn't able to get it. He was stuffed just before he got to the first down. So do you look for them to try and branch out more into the passing game on this drive, or do you think they're going to stick with their running game?
Their running game has been very effective for getting runs over more than 10 yards, so I think they'll just stick to their running game and maybe use some play-action passes to get the ball down the field quicker.
Oh, here comes the kickoff. Deep, goes into the end zone, and it's going to be a touchback here. So Chaparral Wolverines is going to take over on the 20-yard line for this offensive drive, and I would look for Chaparral to continue the running game as well, but I would also at the same time look for them to start mixing in some more play action and deep balls to try and branch out and diversify their offensive play calling a bit, because at the moment they're pretty predictable with their plays. It's mostly just run the ball.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but Peyton Ross has not completed a pass, and it's only 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
There was the one to the tight end, but yeah, other than that, there hasn't been a single completed pass. But he's going to try and pass this time. Rolls out to the right to escape the pressure. Throws it deep down the middle, and he's got his target there. The tight end, number 84, Doug Wick. And I think you got to look at the Mountain Vista pass coverage there, because he was kind of there was a coverage near him, but at the same time it didn't seem like they really wanted to actually close him down and get him covered.
The tight end Doug Wick beat the linebacker on that play, and for some reason the free safety over the top had no help on that play, for he was over to the sideline where there was another receiver.
Well then, Ross in the shotgun. Looks like he's going to take it himself here. On the left side, jukes out a few Mountain Vista defenders here. Gets around the edge, and that's going to be a first down for Ross there.
Ross got out of a pretty tough situation there, using his quickness and his elusiveness to get out of the center of the field and kick the ball to the outside.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to start looking for that one more, because we know that he can run the ball. He's very fast. He's not a quarterback, as we know. So I would look for that to become a more common play there, an option or a hold or a quarterback draw, just to try and make sure that he can run the ball more.
Another I formation.
Hand off there. And it looks like that is number 30, Dylan Smithwick, the junior, who's finally out on the field on this third series here to replace number 5, Carnell Lewis. So Smithwick, as we know, their top rusher so far this season. Carnell Lewis hasn't been involved too much, but would you look for him to get involved again later in this game?
Most definitely. Carnell Lewis seems to be way faster than Smithwick, even though he's way smaller. So maybe on longer downs, maybe a third down, they'll put Lewis in there.
Smithwick gets the ball again on the left, and he's still moving forward there, but they managed to get him. And it's going to be about a third and 5 here. Yeah, Smithwick definitely seems to be more of a bruising back type of player, someone who will just run the ball up the middle and try and run you over with his pure athletic prowess, more than a 5 Lewis, who is able to, be more elusive and more agile, harder to tackle, harder to cover.
Smithwick is in here again in the shotgun next to Peyton Ross.
They're going to bring both their tight ends outside of the line here, so basically a 4 wide receiver set here, and they're going to go over the middle. Ooh. dangerous pass there towards number 28, Justin Dubett, the wide receiver, but it looks like that was some good pass coverage there. There was about 3 people in the area, and they were able to get onto him and make sure that he couldn't get that ball. And it looks like they might go for it again here on 4th and 7 this time.
Peyton Ross had the wide receiver open. The tight end kind of set a pick play to get off the cornerback in. Just that's the wide receiver saw, hit him right in the hands.
Oh, this is a trick play for the ages over here.
And yes,
it's
like
going to be
they are
interesting.
going for it.
I formation, 2 wide receivers out to the right side here. They're going to go for it, 4th and 7. Play action. Ross is rolling out to the right, can't escape the pressure, throws it, and he's got a man wide open there. That's Tizell Lewis.
That was some blown coverage. Tizell Lewis was there open on the sideline. Just no one even around him.
Yeah, that was definitely not the best coverage we've seen from Vista. They had a good chance there to stop him. They were getting closing in on Ross, but Lewis was able to get away from the coverage, and he's just sitting there wide open.
Right as Vista thought they were going to get off the field with a 4th and about 6, they now have to face a 1st and 10 within the red zone.
Yep. Ross is going to hand it off to Smithwick here. Takes it up the right side. Keeps pounding. That's about a 6-yard gain there as we come towards the 2-minute mark of this first quarter here. Chaparral's closing in on the Mountain Vista, on the end zone again.
What do you think has to change on the Mountain Vista defense to stop this Chaparral offense?
Well, I think they've been doing pretty well after that initial first series where they kind of just got run over. I think they've adjusted pretty well. But they definitely still have to work on stopping the run a lot more to force Ross into more of those throwing situations. Smithwick gets the ball again on the right, but this time he's stopped. And it looks like it's going to be about a 3rd and 3 here.
That was number 42, Bernard, with the stop, and he really just got Smithwick right at the line of scrimmage. Seems like it was for no gains. Now it brings up a 3rd down.
Well, on the first 3 drives for Chaparral, so far, we've seen them go for it on 4th down twice. So if they don't get this, would you look for them to go for it on 4th down again now that they're in the red zone?
I think they may be looking for a field goal since they are in the red zone.
Oh, Carnell Lewis bounces it outside, and he's got room. And it looks like he made it to the end zone. Nope, they're going to rule him down just short. Well, it looked like Carnell Lewis was stuffed there, but he manages to bounce the play outside to the right side, and he gets some good yardage on that one. And now it's going to result in Chaparral being on the 1-yard line here.
And I think Dylan Smithwick is now in the game. Obviously, their bigger running back to just pound the ball into the end zone.
I would definitely look for them to just force it in. No wide receivers or anything. 2 fullbacks. Definitely look for them to pound it in, and he's in. Oh, but it looks like the ball's come out. Oh, no, but the referees are ruling it as a touchdown anyways. It seems. Well, it seems. Yes, it does appear to be that the refs have ruled it as a touchdown, but it also looks like there might be a bit of debate on that one because the Mountain Vista defenders are telling them that the ball is out, so possible fumble here. It looks like the refs aren't going to have any of it, though. It looks like they're going to just kick the PAT here.
There's no question from the refs. They obviously know that he was across the line and that Chaparral knows that 2 lining up here for the extra point.
Yeah, I believe that definitely a controversial call there, but it doesn't really change too much. Well, Chaparral Wolverines back in front again, 14-7 with 49 seconds to go in this first quarter. Definitely a bit of controversy there with that one, but Chaparral does get in. Refs rule it is in. So we will be right back. Well, we've been able to look at our recording of that play, and there's definitely some controversy. We weren't able to get the best angle on it or the best view on it, but the ball may have been loose there. as he was diving in towards the end zone. So definitely some controversy there. Of course, Mountain Vista fans are not happy at all. They're kind of giving the refs some stick there, but can't do too much about it as Mountain Vista is going to receive another squib kick here. Aaron Albertson gets this one, and he's going to take it out to about the 40. Mountain Vista's offense is going to take over and look to build on that strong performance on their last drive where they were able to drive down the field pretty easily with the passing and get a touchdown.
Yeah, their passing game has really been effective on the last drive. Maybe they stick to that passing game and not use their run game as much.
Looks like Noah Hicks is the back again.
There's three wide receivers to the left side bunched up.
On the short sideline, yep.
Press man coverage with the free safety in the back. It is not Peyton Ross this time.
Well, looks like it's going to be a handoff here to Noah Hicks. Oh, the ball might have just come out there. Possibly. It doesn't seem like it, though. Looks like it's going to be about a 3-yard gain there for Hicks.
That's good to get the pressure off Carson, or off Wetzel.
Looks like they're going to get about one more playoff here in this first quarter. We're going to have to see what they're going to do with this. Same formation here. Hicks still in the backfield. Wetzel in shotgun. Takes a snap. Oh, bobbles it there. Throws it out right. Cameron Williams gets it. Oh, that might have been a...
Seemed like a face mask.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a dirty tackle there, but... Oh, and the refs seem to be stopping the clock for some reason.
No, Hicks is now getting out of the game, and Colton Whiteside checks back in.
Looks like the refs have stopped the clock, but there's no penalty. Oh, no, there is a penalty. Oh, looks like it is going to be some form of unnecessary roughness or possibly even a face mask, definitely. 15 yards.
That's a big time play for Mountain Vista as they move the ball another 15 yards and into enemy territory again.
Yep. Well, 6 seconds to go here in this first quarter. 1st and 10 on the 30, but the clock's going to run, and it looks like this is going to be the last play of the first quarter here. And, yep, it is. Looks like they're going to do a little screen for Whiteside there, but it's going to be the end of the first quarter here. And at the end of the first quarter, Chaparral Wolverines are still up on the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles 14-7.
Mountain Vista with a 1st and 10 now on the 29-yard line. Colton Whiteside is the running back behind Wetzel.
They're going to motion the receiver, and Whiteside's going to take it, and he's going to be stopped at about the line of scrimmage here. Yeah, and it seems like Whiteside's continuing his trend over the past few weeks of kind of struggling a little bit on his running.
Whiteside is a much bigger back with less elusiveness, so he just has to rely on breaking tackles, which in this game and in this season, he hasn't been able to do that.
Yeah, and I don't know whether you have to look at the offensive line for that or whether you just have to look at his own ability. Aaron Albertson gets the pass on the right side there, gets around the edge, and he's still moving. Oh, man. It takes 2 sharp defenders to pick him up and throw him out of bounds pretty much. Really good play there.
Great blocking downfield by the Mountain Vista wide receivers to let Aaron Albertson get inside the 10-yard line. No Hicks checked into the game. Maybe they'll seem to punch the ball in with no Hicks.
Well, 1st down and 10 here on about the 7-yard line. Or 1st down and goal, I should say. And it looks like there's going to be a timeout here Timeout on Chaparral again. That's their second timeout of this half. Well, what do you look for in the Mountain Vista offense here to try and punch this ball into the end zone and get even with Chaparral again?
I think they may try another fade route, maybe to Cameron Williams again, because the press man coverage is easy to get a fade route off against if you push off.
Yeah, definitely some man-beating routes I would look for around here on this little in this situation. And at the same time, I think they might try and run the ball a bit here, depending on who they bring in. If it's Hicks, which it looks like it is going to be Hicks again, then I would look for them to try and at least play action or run the ball like once, just because I think that Hicks has been more reliable for them this season, and so I would look for Hicks to try and get at least one attempt to punch it in, especially if they get closer.
Johnny Evans is the lone wide receiver on the left side. There's a three bunch on the right with Smith, Williams, and Albertson.
Yep. Same formation as usual. Wetzel in the shotgun here. Let's see what they do here. Wetzel takes a snap, hands off to Hicks, and he gets stuffed after a gain at maybe a yard or possibly just stopped at the line of scrimmage there. It's going to be second down here. And
that may just answer our question. The Mountain Vista running game still not being able to go, so it seems like they're going to have to throw the ball if they're going to want a touchdown out of this drive.
Indeed. Wetzel talking to his line. It's definitely interesting because Johnny Evans is the lone receiver on the left side, but they've got their free safety on that side as well. And they look for Evans on the fade route, and he's got it! That's another touchdown for Mountain Vista. Johnny Evans, number 80, with a great catch on the fade route. Another great passing play by Mountain Vista.
Here we're seeing the weakness of the Chaparral defense, and that they are not being able to hold up against the long, high balls against the Vista receivers.
Yeah, their corners are definitely having a lot of problems trying to defend against these physical receivers like Johnny Evans and Cameron Williams. It's interesting because Aaron Albrechtson and Tristan Smith, usually the guys that we talk about a lot and the guys that we see getting the most action, but it seems like in this game, Vista's trying to use their more physical receivers. Oh, and the PAT is blocked. Smith picks it up.
There is a flag on the field, down by the 1 yard line. Possibly a holding call.
Looks like Vista might get another chance at this one.
The referees are talking it over. Let's see what this penalty is.
And it looks like they're going to get a take two on this one here. Must have been on Chaparral.
Yeah, it had to be on Chaparral, because if it was on Chaparral, or if it was on Vista, then Chaparral would have declined it and be up 14-13.
Yeah. Looks like Cash is trying to figure out what the deal is here. Same with the Chap coach. They're both trying to just figure out what's going on around here. But I think it's pretty obvious that the call must have been on Chap if they're still letting the kick team stay out there. Roughing the snapper. Looks like they got a bit too eager there with the snap, and they kind of just ran him over as he was trying to snap the ball. Maybe that accounted for that bit of a low snap there. So it looks like they get to move closer and try again.
Lucky for Vista, they get another try at this extra point.
See if they can block out these Chap defensemen this time. Oh, they'll get back in again, but they can't block it this time. And it's good.
Again, another low snap, but this time it doesn't hurt Mountain Vista.
Well, as we were saying here, usually we end up talking about Tristan Smith and Aaron Albrechtson as the two wide receivers on this team that produce the most, just because of their pure speed and big playability. But so far, it looks like they're trying to use their more physical receivers, Johnny Evans and Cameron Williams, with that height and those hands to be able to just beat those corners in that press man coverage.
So far, they've singled out the wide receiver that they're throwing the touchdown to. Both times it was a fade route into the back corner of the end zone, but they used that bunch route to get all the other corners or defenders on the other side of the field.
Well, Chaparral's going to get the ball back here again, looking to build on that drive that they had last time out towards the end of the first quarter, where they managed to get the ball into the end zone for the second time. So definitely I would look for them to continue trying to run the ball the way they have been so far.
And the
ball gets knocked over by the
Ball is falling over on the tee.
wind. The wind's starting to be a factor, blowing from right to left.
Yeah, we've definitely had some bigger gusts earlier in this game, and it looks like the wind is a bit starting to influence it here. And they're going to have a holder this time. Trying to make sure that that ball doesn't just fall over again. And the held kickoff is up, and it's in the end zone again. Another touchback, and Chaparral's going to come out, take over on the 20-yard line again.
Do you think Chaparral will stick to their running game, or maybe get Peyton Ross to start throwing the ball more and forcing big plays down the field?
Well, I think Ross has definitely had a bit more success on that last drive with throwing the ball. They've had some better throwing plays, but I would still look for them to continue with their run-first offense, just because I think that seems to be their bread and butter, especially with a backup quarterback who doesn't play quarterback. I would look for them to definitely try and limit his throwing. Handoff again, and that's about a 5-yard gain there. And I believe that is number 5, Carnell Lewis again. It is. Well, Carnell Lewis back out on the field again after Smithwick took over most of that last drive. So are you going to look for them to continue to keep Lewis out, or are they going to keep changing it up between Lewis and Smithwick as this game goes on?
On that last drive, Smithwick kind of got held up at the line of scrimmage by the Mountain Vista defensive line.
Oh, bobbled snap there, but it looks like there's going to be a penalty on Vista. Oh no, it looks like it's going to be on Chap as a false start.
On Chap.
That was definitely a weird play there. It looks like the center might have false started and snapped the ball before Ross was ready, because he kind of bumbled the snap there. Vista recovered it, but it doesn't matter anyways. Well, second and 10 here. They've got moved back 5 yards. Still 2 wide receivers, and they're going to hand it off to Carnell again. And he's going to get around most of the guys again and get about a 7-yard gain there.
Vista has changed their offense. On the first drive, they started with a free safety back in the field. But it seems like they're just running a kind of a deep linebacker. They're only 10 yards back, and they're pressing up to try to stop the run game by Chaparral.
It's definitely a risky play, though, because if you sell out to try and stop this run, there's always the risk that the pass will beat you, especially with this play action. They've been really good with their play action so far, so I would still watch out for that. 3rd down and 3 here on the 27-yard line. You're going to give it to Carnell, and he's going to get through everyone for another about 10-yard gain there, and that's going to be a 1st down.
Chaparral running game just seems to be tearing up the Mountain Vista defensive line.
Yeah, it's definitely been something that Mountain Vista's struggled with so far this season, is being able to stop the run, being able to tackle the more elusive running backs. It's definitely been a struggling area of theirs so far this season, so I'm not too surprised. Carnell gets the handoff again up the middle, but this time he's absolutely stuffed. Gets about 1 or 2 yards there. It's going to be about a 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, like you said earlier, the elusive running backs seem to just be getting Mountain Vista. Early in their last drive, they were kind of stopping Smithwick.
Yeah, but I think the thing about that is just that Smithwick isn't as much of an elusive back. I think he's more of a Colton Whiteside, if you will.
That's right.
Well, 2nd down and 9 here on the Chap 39. 8 minutes to go. Toss left to Carnell, and he tries to get through the hole there, gets stopped up a little bit. It's going to be about a 3rd and 6 here for Chaparral. And do you look for them to pass on this play, or do you look for them to run it again?
I think they'll use a play-action pass and look for their tight ends down the field to get past these Mountain Vista linebackers, because they haven't been able to stay on these tight ends throughout the game.
Yeah, it's definitely been hard for them to cover these tight ends. And as we've seen, the play action has been working pretty successfully. But they're coming out in a pretty heavy I formation here, so they might just try and run it again. And Carnell gets the ball, and he gets away from a few tackles and manages to somehow drag the pile forward just over the 1st down line there.
Vista seemed like they had him stopped for to be a 4th down, but then the offensive lineman came in, pushed the pile past the 1st down.
And it looks like we've got a player down here on the field, Mountain Vista defenseman. Hopefully he's not too seriously hurt here. I believe that is number 92,
That is
Stephen
Stephen
Smith.
Smith.
Well, Stephen Smith, the sophomore defensive lineman here, is down on the field. Looks like he's not too terribly injured because he's talking to them and he's able to stand up under his own power. So hopefully he'll be able to just shake that one off, or at the worst possible outcome. Hopefully only out for like a few days with an injury, because it's definitely always terrible to see someone get injured. So
He's been a big key in this Mountain Vista defensive line stopping the run game, or what they have been stopping throughout this game.
yeah, that definitely hurts Mountain Vista's ability to stop the run game here if you lose one of your big defensive linemen. But it looks like he looks to be relatively okay, so I would expect to see him back out for the next drive. Well, 1st down and 10 here. Carnell gets the oh no, that's Smithwick, and he gets a hole. Ooh. Smithwick with a good run there, about almost 20 yards.
Here we finally see the real explosiveness of the Chaparral running game, and running to the right side with a big hole to just get through the linebackers, the defensive end, and into the secondary, and have a cornerback tackle him.
Yeah, Smithwick got a good hole there, and he was able to finally show off a bit of the speed that we've kind of been questioning him about. But it looks like they brought back Carnell Lewis for this one, and they're going to hand it off to Carnell, who tries to spin, get out of the tackle, but barely gets back to the line of scrimmage there. So 2nd and 10 here on the Mountain Vista 33-yard line. Oh no, it looks like they've even lost a yard. 2nd and 11 on the Mountain Vista 34-yard line here.
That's a good start. If they hold we probably will see another run here to probably get some yards and then set up for a 3rd down. If they stop this run, or what will be, then they can have a chance to stop the 3rd down.
Yeah, I would look for a possible play action pass here, though, depending on what the play callers are feeling. And it is. Ross rolls out to the left. He's got no one on him. Looks like he's going to go for this 1st down. And he's got more than that. It looks like he's going to get in for the touchdown here. And, well, I mean, there's not too much you can do when you just get sold on the play action that badly. He fakes it to the right with Carnell, and then he rolls out left, and the entire line and most of the linebackers all bid on it.
There we really see the speed of Peyton Ross and showing off from his wide receiver and free safety background.
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage of not actually being a quarterback. He's definitely a lot faster than a real quarterback. So, and I mean, he gets some good blocks from his wide receivers, and he's pretty much just gone. You can't do too much about that one other than just try to be more aware. And, oh, the snap is fumbled there by the holder, and the PAT is going to be no good.
This is set up Mountain Vista for, if they get another touchdown, they can take the lead with just an extra point.
It's definitely an interesting turn of events here. Well, Chaparral goes back up ahead now, 20-14 on the Golden Eagles, with about 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this 2nd quarter here. And that's definitely an interesting play. We're going to have to see how that one affects this game. But we'll be right back for the kickoff.
Another squid kick, and it's fumbled by Mountain Vista, but they do land on top of it, and they do have another good start to this drive with good field position on around the 36 or 37-yard line. Yeah,
Vista's been having a lot of trouble trying to recover these swift kicks. It looks like they don't really have their hands team out there all the time, and sometimes they get bad bounces, and it can definitely hurt them if they lose a kickoff here. But so far, they haven't had that kind of a problem that badly yet, and Wetzel's going to be able to take over on his own 32 or 38-yard line, excuse me.
Wetzel in the shotgun again. He has not been under the center once this game.
2 wide receivers on either side. Oh, fakes it to Whiteside and then goes out towards Johnny Evans, their number 80. Good catch for Evans there. That gives him about 5 yards. It's going to be about a 2nd and 5 here.
Seems like Mountain Vista just gets these, maybe getting these short little passes, just like Chaparral gets these mid to short game on the running game. What's on the shotgun again?
Wetzel fakes it to Whiteside again, goes out to the left again, and Albrechtson's got some room here. Ooh. Well then, Aaron Albrechtson breaks a pretty tough tackle there from one of the Chaparral corners, manages to turn that one up for about a 10-yard gain there. It's going to be 1st and 10 on the Chaparral side of the field here, not the 40. And you're going to look for them to keep trying these little short passes?
I think you have to. With the running game not being where it needs to be, the passing game and these short passes seem to be working, especially on this drive.
Yep. 3 wide receivers out to Wetzel's right here. Johnny Evans, the only one on the left. Wetzel takes the snap, looks right on the bubble screen there, and it seems like Albrechtson slipped there trying to get that one, and gonna lose about a yard on that one. So, 2nd bubble screen so far this game, 2nd time that they've lost yards on it. So, definitely, probably not a play they want to call too many more times because it doesn't seem to be working very well so far.
Watch out for Vista to take these deep routes against these corners who have failed to cover the deep routes in both the touchdowns that Vista has.
It looks like Chaparral shifted up their defense a bit. They've got 2 safeties now, trying to possibly combat that deep throwing ability that Wetzel has so far. And he goes over the middle. Albrechtson went the wrong way from the ball there, almost picked off. Looks like a miscommunication there between Wetzel and Albrechtson on what the route was.
Here we have holding on Mountain Vista, so this will push them back, and it'll make up for a rough 2nd down.
Yeah, that was definitely not the greatest play there. It looks like there was just a bit of miscommunication there between Wetzel and Albrechtson on that, what the route was supposed to be. And
that's
he's having a
10-yard
little
penalty, creating 2nd and
21 here.
Yeah, what do we? A lot of times when people have
24 actually. Looks like it was a 15-yard holding penalty or so.
Maybe the yard backed it up from that bubble screen that failed.
Yeah, possibly. All right, Wetzel under pressure here. Looks for a screen to Hicks, who gets hit. And looks like he's lost even more yards there. And it's going to be 3rd and a mile here for Vista.
I think they're just going to run the ball, get a little bit more yards instead of a pretty easy punt.
That's always possible, yeah. It's also always possible that they might try and go deep on the run, on the pass here. But now that Chaparral's adjusted to have 2 safeties instead of just the 1 free safety, I wouldn't look for that.
Wetzel's struggling with deep passes because his wide receivers don't have time to get down the field before he's getting rushed and pressured in the pocket.
He's definitely having a lot of pressure to deal with in that pocket, and I think that's definitely affecting his ability to throw deep. He rolls out to the right, throws deep there, and it looks like it's picked off by Chaparral there. And they're going to try and return it down the field. Taken down, but definitely not a great play for Vista there. Trying to go deep over the middle on the 3rd and long. And it gets picked off by number 24, E.J. Coulter there.
That was a good comeback tackle by number 15, Williams.
Yeah.
To stop them from getting even further down into the Mountain Vista territory.
It looked like if Williams didn't get back in time to get that tackle, looks like he was going to blow past Wetzel, just take it for the touchdown. But definitely not a great play for the Vista offense here, throwing a pick. And, I mean, as we know, Chaparral's great at pressuring and getting picks, so I guess it's not too much of a surprise, but it's definitely still something that Mountain Vista wants to avoid at all costs. We're going to run it on the right side here. Looks like Carnell Lewis again, and he gets about 3 yards on that one.
Going back to the interception, Wetzel may have made a bad throw. Well, he did make a bad throw, but a bad decision. There was a safety over the top and the corner who jumped the route.
Yeah, I think he was trying to throw it in front of the wide receiver there, which I believe was Albrechtson, number 85, but it looks like he just threw it a bit too far behind, so that way the corner was able to get in front of it just a little bit and pick it off there. Oh, hand off to Carnell on the left side this time, and he gets about maybe 1 yard if he's lucky, but It's going to set up a 3rd down and pretty long here for Chaparral, about 3rd down and 8.
Another misdirection run from the Chaparral offense, and both times they've done that, Mountain Vista defensive line has been on top of it and only keeping them for a short gain.
Definitely. Well, just under 4 minutes left in this first half here. Chaparral looking to capitalize on that turnover, get a score. And if they don't get this 1st down on this play, I would look for them to go out on 4th down again. Oh, roll out, play action again. And it's caught by number 84. That is Doug Wick again, the tight end. And it looks like he might be, they're on the line here. Looks like it's going to be 4th and inches here. And I would, no, it's going to be 1st down here. As I'd say, definitely looking for them to probably go for that one if it was a 4th down. But just about 3 minutes left to go in this first half. Chaparral closing in on the Mountain Vista end zone here. They're in the red zone now on the 15-yard line, 1st and 10.
Here we only see one wide receiver.
Oh, Carnell gets the ball again, gets about 2 yards out of that one. Oh, and it looks like there's going to be a flag on Mountain Vista for some possible unnecessary roughness there.
Yeah, the defensive end seems to just be staying on top of the offensive lineman for no reason.
Yeah, that's definitely a penalty. Oh, no, it looks like it's going to be on Chaparral here. Oh, so it is going to be on Chaparral here. And that's going to move them back a long ways here. That's 15 yards.
That's a big play for the Mountain Vista defense, though we did think it was on Chaparral. This is huge for Mountain Vista. This will probably stop them from scoring, barring a big play.
Yeah, but you definitely got to watch that offense, make sure that they stiffen up here, because you can't give up a great opportunity like this, but they've got them so far back now. It's going to be probably first and about 23 on the 28-yard line here. So this is definitely going to be a long way to the 1st down here for Chap. And they're going to go play action again. It's the same rollout to the left. And the receiver's wide open, but Ross overthrows him just barely.
A blown throw by Peyton Ross right there. He had the receiver wide open for another, or what would have been an easy 3rd down to convert.
Yeah, definitely another little bit of a non-quarterback throw there for Peyton Ross. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and 23 here.
Do you know why that they are rolling out to the left side when Peyton Ross is a right-handed quarterback?
I don't know. That's definitely an interesting thing to think about, because I think most of it is just trying to get that misdirection on them, and especially because I believe it seems like Tizell Lewis, their best wide receiver, keeps lining up on that left side, so they're trying to get him involved more. And he's going to come out to the left again. Oh, they almost get him way in the backfield, but he's going to try and run for it here. And they stop him. It's going to be about a 3rd and 11 here with just over 2 minutes to go in this first half here.
This is actually a 4th down, and it is 4th and 11. So there's some confusion. The referees calling 4th down, but the scoreboard says 3rd.
Yeah, I would assume that after that penalty that they wouldn't take away the down, considering that was a 1st down when that penalty was given.
And a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, it seems like it should be 3rd down, but the
should be
referees
3rd down,
continue to call for 4th down.
Yeah, it seems like there's definitely some confusion around here on the sidelines. And timeout on Chaparral here. That's their final timeout of this half. We'll have to see if the refs can figure out what's going on here with that 3rd or 4th down. But, I mean, I don't know. Do you think that's a ref fault, or do you think that's a scoreboarder fault?
Either way, there's one fault, and I think it may have been on the refs because it was a 15-yard penalty, and not too many penalties to take away 15 yards and a down.
Yeah.
But either way, the referees are not changing. They're staying 4th down, so this will be a 4th and 11 with an awkward place. A long field goal and a long 4th and 11.
Well, the question now is really whether the linesmen and the refs are actually on the same page here on what the down is. Because if they do think that it's 4th down, then there's definitely some controversy here about Chaparral maybe not getting all the downs they're supposed to. But if the refs on the field do think that it's a 3rd down, then I guess it doesn't matter too much, and the linesman can kind of figure out his deal. But it looks like they're going to say it's 4th down here, and they're going to go for a long field goal, Chaparral here.
on the left hash with a right-footed kicker.
Low snap, and that one is not
no
going to be
good.
in. Oh, it is in.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That one looked like it was just a bit short, but it looks like it was just a bit long enough. Well then, great kick for Chaparral, managing to get some points out of that drive.
Yeah. Now Chaparral is up 23-14, up 9 with a 2-possession game now.
Well, looking for Mountain Vista to rebound from that last drive where they had some unlucky calls on penalties, and then they got moved back even further in the pick on third down, trying to go deep. So what do you look for the Mountain Vista offense trying to rebound from that now?
Well, with only 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, I think they have to use their effective passing to get the ball down the field, maybe for a touchdown, but at least in field goal range to make this a one-possession game.
Another squib kick here, and it comes off the ankle again. Oh, it looks like he got a little bit of room there, but looks like the guy who recovered it was not one of the speedy guys on the team there. Oh, no, it looks like that is actually number 26, Matt Smith there. So I guess he just didn't get enough room to really be able to make much happen with that one.
Maybe they need to put some of their more hands people up on the front line to prepare for these squib kicks that are coming from Chap.
Definitely. But first and 10 here for the Vista offense on the 36-yard line. And they're going to look to try and punch this one in the end zone in 2 minutes. Famous 2-minute drill coming up here for Vista. Looking right, another screen. Albrechtsen gets it low and gets absolutely pulled down there by the Shep cornerback. It's going to be a 2nd and 10 here.
Do you think they maybe fake one of those short passes and then go deep to make up some yardage, because they don't have much time here left in the first half?
It's possible. Looks like they're going to go no huddle here. Switch around the sides where the wide receivers are on. And they're going to hand it off here to, I believe that's Colton Whiteside there. And indeed it is Colton Whiteside, and he gets about 6 yards from that one, I would say.
That was an effective run to set up Vista for a pretty manageable 3rd and about 6 or 7.
Hicks is back out on the field now to replace Whiteside, so looks like this is definitely more of a passing situation here. Well, about 1 minute and 15 seconds to go in this first half here, and there's some confusion on the Vista side of the ball. They're not ready for a play here, and they're going to call a timeout. So looks like they're going to try and figure out what play they want to run here to make sure they can try and get the 3rd down. So we will be right back.
Mountain Vista again lined up in the bunch set to the left.
Seems like they're going to do an interesting play here. They usually don't bunch up that close, but there's a flag out here. Probably going to be on Vista. I would assume it's going to be a false start of some kind, but we're going to have to see what the refs think. And it is going to be a false start. That's number 71, Ian Hudgens, on the penalty. Well, that definitely doesn't help. They're 3rd down and 11 here.
Yeah, this will be tough. And now, again, as you mentioned, Chaparral transferring to the 2-safety defense so that Vista can't do anything deep.
Or at least it's going to be a lot harder to try and do something deep, definitely. Oh, Smith gets the inside slant, and he just gets the 1st down there. And it looks like they're going to have an opportunity to keep moving here. 1st down, definitely great play by Tristan Smith to be able to pull his cornerback on his back all the way to the 1st down. Wetzel looking left again. Oh, but it's tipped, and he drops the easy pick there.
Incomplete.
That's a let-off for Mountain Vista there.
Going back to the last play, that is the first time they used Tristan Smith in this game, and it was for a very effective play.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the guy who unfortunately dropped that easy pick for Shep there, number 56, Jacob Stanton, the linebacker. And I mean, that's definitely a let-off for Mountain Vista. It was tipped, and it pretty much went straight into his arms, and he just managed to drop it somehow.
Shap seems to be tipping a lot of Wetzel's passes so far in this game.
Oh, the throw is well over Johnny Evans' head there, out of bounds, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 10 here on the Vista 48-yard line, just about half midfield. 44 seconds to go in this first half. And do you look for them to try another deep pass, or do you look for them to do what they did last time they were on 3rd down and go for a short pass?
I think they may look for another slant, maybe to Aaron Albertson or Tristan Smith on the slots on either side. There's no one in the middle of the field, only the corners on the 2 receivers.
Seems like the linebacker is going to drop back in coverage, though. Only a 3-man rush, but it still gets to him. And they're going to bring Wetzel down. And, I mean, if you can get a sack with a 3-man rush, I mean, that's definitely a sign that your defense is pretty formidable on the pass rush.
Vista's really slacking in their offensive line, only sending three rushers, and they still got to Wetzel, not even just getting to him, but they pressured him throughout the entire play, making him not able to find a receiver.
Well, looks like they're going to go for it here, 4th and 18. Clock still running, under 10 seconds, and actually it looks like they're just going to wait this one out here. Yep, looks like they're going to come off the field, head towards the locker room as this game, oh no, they're taking a timeout with 0.5 seconds left on the clock here. It looks like they're going to try for the deep ball here.
Please reset the game clock to 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Well, resetting the game clock to exactly 2 seconds left in this half here. And it seems like they're just going to try and come up with a deep bomb play here to try and get a touchdown.
Do you think they'll go for the deep bomb or try to get either Aaron Albertson or Tristan Smith into the open field with their deadly speed?
I would definitely look for a deep bomb, but I think a deep bomb in this situation would be to Tristan Smith or Albertson, just because of that big playability that they have and the speed and the elusiveness.
3 wide receivers to the left. If there is a deep play, it will be to the left to try to get just lucky and have a receiver jump up and grab the ball.
We'd definitely look for Noah Hicks here, number 12, to be used as a blocker there to try and buy Wetzel some more time. Chaparral sitting back with 3 safeties, really placed off the ball here. They're just going to go for a prevent type defense. And they're going to go short here. Williams doesn't manage to get the ball, but that's going to be the end of the half here. So as we head into the locker rooms at halftime, the Chaparral Wolverines are still up on the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles, 23-14. And we will be right back after the halftime show.
And a few more of our 2017 corporate sponsors. The DeLuca Agency with nationwide insurance. What's precious to you is precious to us. Mike Ward Infinity Maserati, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, and Fiat. Just drive it. Mickey Hungerford with Crestline Mortgage Bankers. Rocky Mountain Dog Runner. Run, walk, hike, exercise for your dog. Bellevue Animal Hospital. Alpine Waste and Recycling. Keeping Colorado Green. McLean Price with Farmers Insurance. At Farmers, we believe in smarter coverage because the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. Find your local agent, McLean Price, at 303-933-8400. We are insurance, we are farmers. And now, for your halftime entertainment, your 7-time state champion and current national champion, Vista Varsity Palms. Once again, your 7-time state champion and current national champions, Vista Varsity Palms. Thank you, ladies.
we are back here with the second half of this football game. Mountain Vista Golden Eagles taking on the Chaparral Wolverines. And the first half was definitely an interesting thing to watch, to see how both of these teams approached this game and how they played so far. Definitely one of the talking points right now has been how the two offenses have been comparing with each other. So we've definitely seen Mountain Vista take a pass-heavy approach, and we've definitely seen Chap take a very run-heavy approach. So do you expect either of the teams to try and branch out in their play calling on this half?
I think both of them will stay the same, especially with Chaparral with the lead. Maybe just keep the running game going and just get first downs and maybe waste the clock a little bit more than if they would with the pass game. And Mountain Vista with their pass game, they have to keep passing to make up for the points that they're down. This is a two-possession game, so they have to get a touchdown and a field goal to be winning.
Definitely. And it's always a hard position to be in when you're the losing team, because you want to get that run game established, but at the same time, you know that you have to keep moving faster to get the points back. So, and especially with a running attack that's, as shall we say, not the greatest, as Mountain Vista's is, it's definitely hard to keep that ground game going and make the Chaparral defense respect it.
I think early on they do have to, Mountain Vista does have to get the running game going to get the play-action pass working, because that's what they did in the first, even though they didn't use it that much. The play-action pass, but then the touchdown, both the touchdowns then were affected, especially the first one when it was like 15 yards, not even within the 10-yard line.
Well, on the defensive side of things, we've seen Mountain Vista's defense continue to struggle with some of their tackling and their ground game stoppage, whereas Chaparral's definitely been living up to their billing so far. They've been having tons of pressure on quarterback Caden Wetzel. They've had a few sacks, a few tip passes, one pick, a second almost pick. So what do you expect to see from these defenses coming into this second half?
I think Vista has to make a few more tweaks to stop the running game. Maybe do what Chaparral did in the beginning of the game and only have one free safety back and put more people on the line or another linebacker to get up there and stop the run before they can get these 5 to 10 yard gains and keep getting first downs on the Mountain Vista defense. And for the Chaparral defense, I think they have to maybe run softer man coverage, because the corners are just getting beat down the field. We saw it twice or 3 times in the first half when Cameron Williams beat the corner for a big gain and then the touchdown, and then the touchdown again on another just fade route that the corner is just being beat.
Definitely. I think Chaparral's already started to adjust their defense accordingly. They've brought in 2 safeties now. They've got a strong and a free, whereas Mountain Vista hasn't really seemed to change their defensive outlook too much. It seems like they've tried to load the box a little bit more, but I feel like they definitely have to try and commit more to stopping the run. But then the problem is that, as we've seen, that killer play action pass, especially those rollouts that number 3 Peyton Ross has been having so far this game, it's definitely a threat. So how would you try and approach this situation if you were the Mountain Vista defensive coordinator?
You have to tell your guys to cover those tight ends. On these play action passes, he hasn't even really found the wide receivers for any gains. They've always gone to number 84 Doug Wick for like big gains and just being open down the field and blown coverages on tight ends.
I think they just have to maintain a tighter coverage whenever it is a pass, to give the guys on the line a chance to either get some pressure in Ross's face or to maybe make a big play. But I think the main thing to look out for here is, what do you think Peyton Ross is going to do in the second half? Do you think he's going to keep trying to mainly run the ball himself or hand it off? Or do you think he's going to be trying more to get those types of play action passes into his game?
On the passing side, I think he'll be a lot more ineffective. As we saw in the first half, the what seems like play action, but then he just runs it, seemed to be very effective for his rushing touchdown that was about 20 yards. So him rushing the ball and the running backs rushing the ball, we could see some quarterback options in the shotgun, and then Vista would have a really hard time shutting down the rush.
Definitely. Well, as the second half is about to get going here, Chaparral still leading this game against the Golden Eagles, 23-14. And we're going to have to see how Mountain Vista's defense reacts to Chaparral's offense to open this half after they've been able to go to the locker room, have some talks, have some discussions with Coach Cash, as they're going to have to kick this ball off here to start this half.
Yeah, that's not how they wanted to start the half, with already down by 9 points and giving this deadly Chaparral offense another chance to score points.
Well, a little bit of a lesser important thing here, but definitely something to note is the wind seems to have calmed down a little bit from the middle of the first half. So, do you think that might impact the passing game in some respects?
Maybe like the deep balls that Mountain Vista may have thrown earlier in the late part of the first half. They went to those short games, throwing to Tristan Smith a few times and getting some big yardage out of after the catch.
Well, here comes Vista to kick off this ball, start off this second half here. And that's going to be a squib kick for Vista, first one tonight. And they're going to get it on the bounce. That's number 5, Carnell Lewis, and he gets it out to about the 25. There's a flag on the field, though. And if I would have to place a bet, that would be on Chaparral for some sort of block in the back or some other typical penalty that gets called on kickoff returns.
Here comes the call. There we see the running back, Dylan Smithwick, with a block in the back that'll push Chaparral inside their own 20-yard line on it seems like the 18 or the 17.
No, it looks like it's going to be further back, more like the 13 here. So they're definitely starting with their backs up more against the wall here. We'll have to see if Mountain Vista can capitalize on that. Looks like Carnell gets the ball there. It's about 2 yards on that run.
Another running play, establishing the run game again in the second half to maybe set up some play-action passes and possibly get their wide receivers back into the mix. Tyzel Lewis has been ineffective this game, though, and he's their number 1 receiver.
Definitely. Interesting from the Mountain Vista defensive side of things, though. Looks like they really didn't even have a single safety there. Looks like their one safety that they did have was pretty packed up towards the box, so trying to sell out to stop the run a bit more there. Smithwick gets the ball, trips over his own lineman, it looks like, and might get about a gain of 1 there. So third down and pretty long here coming up for Chaparral.
They may drop one of those linebackers a little bit deep to cover the middle of the field, expecting a pass from the Chaparral offense.
Yeah, definitely watch out for the play action.
Here's where Mountain Vista has to cover those 2 tight ends. They've been pretty deadly within third downs and getting them the first down when they really need it.
Yeah, it looks like they brought him out towards the outside here. Doug Wick and Nick Miles, excuse me. And Peyton Ross gets just over about the first down yard line there. So it's going to be a first down here for Chaparral on the 3rd and 6. And as Vista, I mean, you had him in the after like 3 yards there, you had him pretty tied up there. But he somehow manages to still get out and get that first down. So do you think tackling is still a problem with this defense?
Yeah, it's been a tackling all year, and tackling has been a struggle all year has been. And it's been obvious in this game when stopping the run. Most of the time, they can't bring down the running back.
All right, well, there's Dylan Smithwick. Gets only about another yard there on that first down rushing play. Smithwick here definitely been a lot less effective than number 5, Carnell Lewis. Do you think that they're going to continue trying to use Smithwick, or do you think that Lewis might be starting to kind of dominate the touches that the running game is getting in this one?
Well, here we see Lewis just check into the game, so I think they will use Lewis a lot more than Smithwick. Smithwick only had the 1 big rush in the first half when Lewis had consistent about 10-yard gains.
Definitely. Well, there's Carnell on the toss left, and he gets a bit of a hole there, but they managed to stop him up for only about a 2-yard gain. It's going to be another pretty long third down here.
Mountain Vista has seemed to stop the run game through the second half so far. They've gone to it pretty much every play, except for the one that was a scramble by Peyton Ross. And both times it seems to be about a 3rd and 6, only getting the 4 yards between the 2 downs.
Yeah, you're going to look for Ross to scramble again, considering this is pretty much the exact same situation as 3 plays earlier.
They're lining up again with the tight ends in the slot, so they are looking for a pass, but Mountain Vista covered it very well last time. If they do that again, then for sure Peyton Ross will scramble and use his speed.
He brought Smithwick back in to block for him. Oh, there's number 1. Oh, he drops the ball there. Tizell Lewis there drops the ball on the 3rd down. Crucial play there for the Mountain Vista defense.
And I think they're going to punt. This is not a good spot to turn over the ball if they did miss the 4th down.
It's definitely weird considering they went for the 4th down the last 2 times that they had a 4th down, but not this time.
Here comes the hybrid. Peyton Ross now, the punter.
Yeah, Peyton Ross, he's been playing quarterback this match, but as we know, he plays free safety, punter, punt returner, kick returner. He does pretty much everything around here, so he's going to be able to stay on the field for this one and punt this ball away towards number 7, Tristan Smith, the usual special teams man. Low snap, punts it out towards the right, pretty low punt, bounces, and Smith's not going to take it there. It's going to be down at about the 20-yard line.
That was a really nice punt. It was really low, which most of the time isn't that good, but it took a Chaparral bounce and just rolled down to the 20.
Well, here comes Caden Wetzel out to try and lead this Mountain Vista offense. So last time out, Vista's offense, the last meaningful drive that they had, they threw a pick on a 3rd down and long. They got the ball again with about 2 minutes to go, couldn't do too much with it. And Colton Whiteside was in there, but he just checked out for Noah Hicks. So I guess they're going to go for, I would assume that means that they're probably going to try and run it on this first play, considering how much they like to use Noah Hicks. And they are going to hand it off to him. And he gets a hole, but he's only able to get about 1 yard there, so it's going to be 2nd down and 9.
Caden Wetzel has not been under center at all this game, being fearful and respective of the Chaparral defensive line.
Yeah, he usually doesn't play under center too much at all, considering the spread offense type of scheme that they run. But you would expect sometimes he does go under center, but not this game. They're definitely trying to watch out and give him some more time against that fearsome Chaparral D-line. Oh, Wetzel on the option here, and he keeps it himself and gets about 2 yards there.
Here comes about a 3rd down and 6, maybe 7 here. We maybe see a quick slant route maybe from...
Oh, there's a flag out on the field. Possibly on Chaparral here. Looks like they're having a discussion with Tizell Lewis, number 1 over there. Don't know what this is about. It seems like that came in pretty late, like after the play levels of late. So I think this might be a bit of a weird one. Ref coming over to talk to Coach Cash, figure out what's going on. It's on the Mountain Vista bench. Seems like someone on the bench has been penalized for something here. Don't know exactly what that was. Might have been on Cash or one of the other coaches, or maybe even one of the other players. But that's definitely going to hurt Mountain Vista down there really far back. It's going to be 3rd and real long again here.
Yeah, what was a manageable 3rd down seems to be a 3rd and long, and very uncharacteristic for the Mountain Vista offense to make these 3rd and longs.
Definitely. Wetzel looking right. He's got an open man here in the flats. That's looks like Aaron Albrechtson, number 85, but the throw's a little bit high there, and he's going to go down before he can get too many yards. So 4th and 15 here from Mountain Vista. Looks like they're going to have to punt again. And I mean, that's definitely a weird penalty and a drive killer for Mountain Vista. And I guess you kind of have to just shake it off and try again here. Ooh, the punt is blocked. Received. And he's going to get in inside the 10 here. Mountain Vista having a lot of issues trying to block these ATs, and now we're seeing it with the punts as well.
Here we will probably see Dylan Smithwick just try to punch the ball in, or Carnell Lewis get close to the 1 yard line, or even into the end zone. Both Carnell Lewis and Dylan Smithwick with a touchdown on the game.
Yes, definitely. I think I would definitely look for them to try and just punch it in with a run here. And even if they don't get it, I mean, we've seen them kick a pretty long field goal so far in this game, so it's not too hard to imagine that they would kick a really short one this time around just to try and increase that lead to 12 instead of 9.
If you're Mountain Vista, you're just really looking to stop this offense and hold them to just a field goal.
Looks like Carnell Lewis is going to be out here for the first down, and there's another flag on the play.
Seems like a delay of game on Chaparral.
Possibly. And it looks like, yes, indeed, it is going to be on Chaparral, and they're going to get moved back about 5 yards there. So Well, that definitely helps give Vista some breathing room here. Now instead of a first and goal at the 9, it's a first and goal on the 14.
This really helps Mountain Vista, especially to stop their run game. It's not as close to the end zone.
Well, Chaparral's still going to line up in a pretty heavy I formation here. Carnell's going to get the handoff on the right side, and he's not going to get too much there. Probably about 3 yards on that one. It's going to be second and 12.
The Mountain Vista defensive end has changed into the second half in that they are stopping the Chaparral running backs, both Dylan Smithwick and Carnell Lewis, for only about 2-yard gains every time they're on the ball.
Yeah, they're definitely selling out to stop the run, but do you think that that might open them up to the play action?
Yeah, I think the Mountain Vista corners and the, well, you would say safety have to look out.
Oh, another play action pass, roll out to the right, and he's wide open. That's number 81, Nick Miles, the tight end there.
These Chaparral tight ends have really gotten, they sell out on the run and with blocking, but then the Mountain Vista linebackers can't seem to stay with them when it's a play action pass. Lining up for the extra point again. Maybe they will miss the snap again and only be up 15 against the Golden Eagles.
Well, that snap looked pretty good, and the PAT looks even better. So, Chaparral leading even bigger now against the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles. It's going to be 30-14 here with 6:43 to go in this third quarter. And, I mean, if you're Mountain Vista, you had a pretty bad offensive drive, penalties on the bench, and then a blocked punt on the fourth down trying to get it out of your own end zone, and then they pretty much effortlessly just get it in with the tight end play action. What are you looking for them to do to try and rebound from that on this drive here?
They need a big play of some sort, whether it comes from the running game or the pass. But they need to get the momentum back on their side because Chaparral seems to be taking the momentum in the second half with the block punt and then the touchdown.
Oh, interesting choice here on special teams. They've moved Tristan Smith up to the middle of the field to try and take advantage of the fact that Chaparral keeps squib kicking it here.
Here we can see a deep kick from, here we see Tristan Smith kind of backing up.
And if it was a deep kick, the person who would be getting it would be looks like Vinnie Mack, the safety, number 25 back there. And it is going to go deep to him. Either that or that might actually be Matt Smith there, number 26. Yeah, yes, that is Matt Smith, number 26 back there. So he doesn't really get too much of an opportunity to return that one, and Mountain Vista will start this drive on the 20-yard line.
We see Chaparral just avoiding Tristan Smith no matter what they do, bringing Tristan Smith up. They kick the ball deep and have a touchback.
And it's definitely been working so far. Tristan Smith has not been very involved in this game.
Indeed.
Aaron Albrechtson has been sort of involved, but really, so far, the only real offense has come from Cameron Williams and Johnny Evans, the two guys who normally don't get as much attention on this offense. Smith motions left, and it's going to be a handoff to Whiteside here, and he gets about 3 yards on that one. So good run for Whiteside, considering usually he doesn't seem to have that much success in these kind of in this spread offensive scheme, but he's going to come off after that one. So 2nd and 7 here with Noah Hicks as the single back.
Three wide receivers on the left side, only one on the right. Wetzel again in the shotgun.
Wetzel option. Noah Hicks gets the toss, and he loses about 2 yards on that one. So it's going to be about 3rd and 9 here on the Mountain Vista 21-yard line with just under 6 minutes to go in this third quarter here.
I think since Chaparral adapted to what Vista was doing in the first half with the two safeties, that they have to go to the center of the field, maybe with a slant route by one of the slot receivers.
Definitely. The problem is that the last time they tried to go to the middle, it was a really deep pass, and it got picked off. So I think maybe they're trying to they're hesitating a little bit, trying to exploit that middle. So looking left, screen there to Hicks, and he gets about another 4 yards there, but it's going to be about 4th and 5 here.
The Mountain Vista offense just can't seem to get anything going.
And the Vista offense is going to stay on, though. Looks like they're going to go for it here. Oh, no, they're not. Here comes the punt team.
Well, I think they may have should have gone for it there.
down 16?
I don't know. It might be a bit too early for that kind of last-ditch thing, but at the same time, you do need some momentum. But the real test here is to see whether or not they can actually get some punt blocking this time, and they do. Good punt from Mountain Vista. It takes a little bit of a bad bounce there, but it's going to roll out to around the 42-yard line of Chaparral. And that's where Peyton, Ross, and the Chaparral offense are going to take over.
Mountain Vista seemed to, again, stop the run in the second half. And that's huge for them to keep the game with only in 16 points in a two-possession game.
Now the real problem here is being able to anticipate the play action. And being able to stop, make sure that those tight ends don't get so wide open as they've been able to do so far throughout this game. I mean, as we saw in that last touchdown, Nick Miles was just wide open in the end zone. No one covered him.
Yeah, both Doug Wick and Nick Miles have been a huge factor for Chaparral on those last-ditch plays.
Well, hand off to Carnell, and he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That's a pretty rare feat there for Mountain Vista. So it's going to be 2nd and 11 here. Or no, it looks like the refs ruled him as getting back to the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 here on the 42. And I think the main way to stop these play action passes is to just get some more pressure on those edges. As we've seen, Peyton Ross likes to really roll out on those play actions on the opposite way from where the running back was coming, to be able to get himself wide open for scrambling if he needs to. So I think if they can get some more edge rushing, then I think they might be able to limit those play action passes. Well, here comes Carnell. He's coming down the left, and he's got some blocking. Flag on the play, but it gets about, I'd say, near 25 yards on that one.
Seems like that's either going to be a holding or a block in the back call on Chaparral. The cornerback was really holding on to, or the wide receiver was really holding on to the cornerback there. Let's see what the call is from the referees.
Looks like
Chaparral is moving backwards.
Chap's not too confident. And it's going to be holding on Chaparral. So really good play there for Carnell Lewis, but it gets taken back on a penalty. So going to be, or not, seems like they've somehow managed to move up.
It seems like they took the penalty from where Carnell Lewis was down, or maybe where the penalty was.
Possibly. That was, I don't know too much about that one, I guess.
That's pretty interesting.
We'll just have to let that one go. Lewis gets the carry up the middle, and he gets stopped just shy of the first down marker. So it's going to be probably 3rd down and 1 here. And honestly, I have pretty much no doubt that they'll be able to get this first down here.
Yeah.
They got stuffed earlier on a 3rd and 4th down and 1 earlier in the game, but if they try and sell out to stop the run at this point, then I would bet quite a lot of money that they're going to go for another play action pass here. Timeout for Chaparral. Trying to figure out what they're going to do with this offensive play here. 3:48 to go in this 3rd quarter. Chaparral Wolverines are still up on the Golden Eagles 30-14, and we will be right back.
Formation. Vista stack the box.
Oh, trying to do a fake snap there to try and get the Vista defense to jump. And looks like it had the opposite effect. Chaparral jumped on the false snap there, so that definitely helps Vista. Instead of a 3rd and 1 now, it's going to be a 3rd and looks like possibly a 3rd and 11 or so.
Yeah, now
or
for sure,
3rd
I
and
think
6.
we're looking for
Third
the
and
play action
6.
pass and looking for those tight ends to be open maybe. Or, again, Tyzel Lewis had that one catch earlier on to get them another first down.
Yeah, I would look for a pass on this play here. Although, obviously, I mean, they've been doing really well with Carnell Lewis at running back, so it's always possible. And they're going to give it to Carnell, and he doesn't manage to break a tackle this time. He's stopped after about a 2-yard gain. It's going to be about 4th and 4 here.
Yeah, and it does look like the punting is coming on.
Well then, good stop for Mountain Vista, considering they've had some struggles with the getting tackling on the run. And it seemed like he had a hole there for a bit, but hole closed enough pretty quickly and managed to wrap him up around the legs and stop him for the 4th down, and they're going to have to punt now.
Mountain Vista seems to be collapsing to the ball to stop these running backs, and it's working really well in the second half.
Well, down by 16 here, looking at this next Mountain Vista offensive drive, do you think it's absolutely critical for them to get points here?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Smith catches that one, and almost had some room on the edge there, but that's number 28, Justin Dubé for Chaparral, coming out with a really nice tackle on Tristan Smith.
That was a huge open field tackle by Dubé, and Tristan Smith had the edge if he broke that tackle, and could have gotten much better field position or see a touchdown.
Definitely. Well, Vista's going to start out here on their own 28-yard line, looking to finally put together another scoring drive here. 3 on the left. Wetzel takes the snap. Another option, pitches it out to Noah Hicks on the right side. Oh no, that is Matt Smith, the sophomore, coming in for a snap.
What do you think about that changeup in running back?
I think it's pretty fitting because I think people know throughout the broadcast that I've done, I am a huge fan of Matt Smith's running in this style of offense. So I think Matt Smith is probably a good fit for this offense right now. Ooh, lots of pressure. Matt Smith gets the screen though, has some nice blocking, jukes one out, and gets a nice 1st down gain.
Maybe Matt Smith is the way to go, already outshining those 2 running backs for that running play and the screen play.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think most people that have listened to me do these games know that I'm a big fan of Matt Smith. So I like seeing him out, getting some touches in this game. Hopefully let his big playability get some, and his elusiveness and agility be able to make some plays for you on offense.
Definitely another weapon along with Tristan Smith and Aaron Albertson.
Well, they're going to hand it off again. And Matt Smith, patient, finds a bit of a hole there. Can't exploit it too much, though, because the corner's kind of waiting for him there. So 2nd and 9 here towards midfield. And Matt Smith's coming off for Noah Hicks here. So good effective series from Matt Smith there, and I would look for him to be involved more throughout this game.
Yeah, that was the spark that Mountain Vista needed right there.
Well, 1 minute 30 to go in this 3rd quarter here. 2nd down and 8 on the 45-yard line as Caden Wetzel attempts to make something good happen here. He's looking left. Another short pass, but that one was thrown a bit ahead of Albrechtsen there. Could have been picked off. Lucky that it wasn't, I would say. And it's going to be 3rd down and 8 here, and they really need to get a good conversion on this one.
The Chaparral cornerbacks were really ready for that play. They've ran it like 4 times tonight, so Chaparral's seen it a lot, and it's been effective, but once they run the play over and over, the defenders know it's coming.
Yeah, Vista hasn't had too much success with their short passing game as opposed to against most other teams.
3rd and long here, and the safety switch spots.
Still takes a snap, looks left towards his bunch. Across the middle, Albrechtsen loses it, trying to get it. Comes off his fingers, almost picked off there, but falls to the ground. It's going to be 4th and pretty long here, and they are going to bring out the punt team once again here.
Tristan Smith was wide open in the middle of the field with the inside crossing route, but just seemed to miss him. And he had a good pass there in Albertson, but it was just a little bit too much.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have passed it to Albrechtsen there if I was Wetzel, considering the fact that he was so covered and you need to get 8 yards on that play. Oh, punt almost blocked again there. But that's a good punt for Vista, and it's going to bounce inside the 10, it looks like. Inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Great punt there for Vista.
That's huge for Vista. Maybe they can bunch the box and stop the running game, because that's what Chaparral need to do. They have to get the running game out to at least use the pass to then get out into the further field. So maybe Vista will stack the box and try to stop Chaparral behind the line, and maybe get a safety and change the momentum of this game, because that's really what's needed for the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles.
Definitely. Well, 1 minute here in this third quarter, and Chaparral takes over the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 3-yard line after a great punt. And I would watch for Mountain Vista to try and stack the box here.
Only one wide receiver and 3 tight ends, or 2 tight ends on the play, and 1 fullback.
It looks like Carnell gets about 4 yards there on that one. Carnell Lewis has definitely been doing great here. Even in the second half when they've been stuffing the box a lot more, he's still been able to get some good chunk gains, you know?
He's got more speed than Dylan Smithwick, and that's, I think, the way to beat the Golden Eagles on the running game, because he's been able to break the ball to the outside and get bigger gains.
Definitely. 2nd and 4 here on the 9. Looks like it's going to go to Carnell again here, up the middle, and he's got a big hole here. Oh, trucks a safety before being finally brought down. Not after a gain of about 20 there.
That was huge for the Chaparral offense, and just really bad for the Vista when they had the punt that went inside the 5, and then maybe the momentum was changing, but then Chaparral just took it right back.
Yeah, and the problem is that as soon as Mountain Vista sells out to try and stop these runs, either Lewis will just break a run anyways, or they'll just play action pass it. There's not too much you can do against that really, other than just try and get your tackles down a lot better on the defensive line and the linebackers side of the ball. Well, we're out of time here in this third quarter, and the Chaparral Wolverines are still leading the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles 30-14, and we will be right back for the start of the fourth quarter. Comes Dylan Smithwick, and it doesn't get too many yards, about 2 there from the line of scrimmage. So 2nd down and 8 coming up here on the 25-yard line for Chaparral.
I think for Chaparral to be effective on offense now, they're going to have to use the play action pass and maybe get those wide receivers, especially Tyzel Lewis, back into the game. He's really been ineffective throughout the game so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not too hard to predict considering that even through 6 games as their number 1 receiver, he's only had 13 catches. But definitely getting him involved more would probably help out this offense a lot. Oh, here comes a sort of play action there for Peyton. He's going deep down the left sideline here. Oh! And as he said, there's Tyzel Lewis, number 1 there, with a deep bomb from Peyton Ross, the man who doesn't even play quarterback.
Seemed like there was a lot of pushing and shoving going both ways from the cornerback and Tyzel Lewis. But no call made.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a weird play there because you could see Peyton Ross underthrew that one pretty badly, and Tyzel had to come back and get it, and the cornerback just couldn't make the right play even though they were kind of jostling each other for the position there. Tyzel just gets up higher and gets the ball. Well, there's Dylan Smithwick again. Oh, almost had a hole there, but gets barely tripped up. Gain of about 5.
Going back to the last play, Tyzel Lewis made a very good adjustment to the ball, coming back to the ball before the corner could, and made him slip. That really made Tyzel Lewis able to freely catch the ball.
Well, I mean, as we were saying, getting Tyzel Lewis more involved would definitely help this offense with their play calling, and as we saw, it worked out pretty well there. Seems he's off the field right now, but I'm sure he'll be back in eventually. Tight end motion to the left there. Smithwick gets the ball again, wrapped up in the backfield, but he still manages to power his way forward for about a yard on that one.
That's where the Chaparral rushing game comes into play with that really long pass. Vista had to. They don't have a safety really in the game, so it was just one-on-one deep coverage, and Tyson Lewis with the bigger body just won the battle.
And I think that play kind of epitomizes Mountain Vista's running defense there. They managed to get to him in the backfield, but he still manages to pull a tackler all the way back to the line of scrimmage when they could have lost yards there. Well, pitch to Carnell Lewis, who's back in the game here. Flag out on the field, but it looks like he's going to be comfortably getting a first down. We'll have to see what the flag's on, though. Possibly holding. Looks like they're pointing towards the Chaparral bench.
Seems like that may be holding on the offensive line by Chap.
Looks like they're pointing towards the Chaparral bench, so I would definitely look to see this one come back. And it is holding on the Chaparral line. So this one's going to come back here, and now they're in a pretty bad spot here. It's going to be third and a long ways now. Third and about 17.
Yeah, seems like it. And we're down to the 10-minute mark left in the fourth quarter. Mountain Vista really has to make some plays to get back into this game.
Definitely. I think they need to get this stop here. Yeah, third down and about like 17, 18 here. You can see Vista's backing off with their coverage here. Pitch to Carnell, and he doesn't get too much this time, only about a 2-yard gain there. It's going to be about 4th and 15, and I would not be too surprised to see the punting team come out for this one.
Yeah, here comes on the punting team.
Well, great stop there for Vista. So, as they get the ball back now, what are you looking for them to be able to do on the offensive side of the ball here?
Well, first off, with this short punt, I think Tristan Smith's going to have the ability to return it unless Peyton Ross kicks it out of bounds. But on offense, they really need to get their passing game going. The running game hasn't been working all game, but their passing game has, and they really need to get it going in this fourth quarter to score some quick points.
Well, we definitely saw some great Smith stuff from Matt Smith coming back out on that last drive as the third-string running back, but I definitely agree with you there. If Matt Smith could come out and keep it going, then I think they might have a good chance to be able to kick that passing game back in gear, but they need to start diversifying their play calling a bit more here. And it looks like Noah Hicks is going to come out a bit late there, so maybe they were trying to decide on who to bring out for this beginning of this series, but it looks like Noah Hicks is going to get the nod for now. 2 wide receivers on either side of the field here. Wetzel still in the shotgun. Hicks behind him with a single back here. Shap looking to probably get some edge pressure here. Oh, screen pass for Hicks, and he manages to get out of a few tackles, but brought down well back before the line of scrimmage there. Probably a loss of 3 or 4 on that one.
For the most part, these screen plays by Mountain Vista have not been working. They had the one to Matt Smith that did work, but that was only because of his elusiveness.
Yeah, I think Mountain Vista's had a lot of bad plays with the screen so far this game. They've tried it like 5 or 6 times, and they've only gotten one good play out of it, and it was with Matt Smith. So I would definitely stop calling them. And then that run there by Noah Hicks losing another yard here, so it's going to be about 3rd and 15.
The offensive line is just not working. By the time the running back, whoever it is, Colton Whiteside or Noah Hicks or even Matt Smith, gets to the line of scrimmage, there are 3 Chaparral defenders there waiting for him.
Yeah, it's definitely not been a great game so far for the Mountain Vista offensive line, and they need to give some blocks so that way their receivers and their quarterbacks and running backs can actually have time to be able to make the plays that they need.
Man coverage, non-press, seems like a slant route that they'd be looking for.
Oh.
Overthrew a wide open Tristan Smith.
Yeah, Tristan Smith wide open. Wetzel wasn't pressured at all. He had plenty of time, and he still misses it.
Are you surprised that they're punting here? I know it's in bad field position if they miss it, but they need these points, and they need to get first downs.
I think the thing to be even more worried about is the fact that the last time they tried this, they blocked the punt. So trying to do it this close to the Chaparral line again, you could see another block punt here if they can't block properly. And there's definitely a lot of people there, and that's a blocked punt. Probably going to be a touchdown for Chaparral, or safety, yeah. Safety. So 32-14, and now the Golden Eagles are also going to have to give the ball straight to Chaparral anyways.
That just ruined the game. Now making it a 3-possession game, though it was a tough 2-possession game with 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. Now they need 2 touchdowns and a field goal to even tie Chaparral.
And especially with their offense being able to come back out here, probably run down the clock a lot. I don't see why you would punt there, considering the last time you were in that kind of a position, the punt got blocked, and thankfully that last time it had gone forward a little bit, so that way they couldn't really, get it back into the end zone where they could get a possible touchdown or safety. But this time, it's even closer to the Chaparral line, and they have no problems with blocking that one, sending it back into the back of the end zone for a safety. I don't see why you would do that, honestly, because if you know that they've already blocked one, and you know that your blocking isn't too great against this formidable Chaparral line, why try, Honestly, I agree with you when you said earlier now that they should have gone for it, because at least it wouldn't get, blocked for a safety, because this has the potential to be a 9-point mistake now instead of a 7-point mistake.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, but I really think they should have gone for it there, because they really, with only 7 minutes and 42 seconds left in the fourth quarter, they need points to catch up to the Chaparral Wolverines.
Definitely. I think now it's time to stop, it's time to start getting some more risky plays out there, because they're just not having too much success with their regular plays. That kick is going to head into the end zone for a touchback there.
That was a great kick. It just kept going and going. That went 80 yards.
Yeah. Probably the only thing that could have been better is if it stopped before it made it into the end zone, but it's definitely not terrible, and Chaparral is going to be able to take over on their own 20-yard line here. And do you look for them to start trying to just run the clock out in this one?
They're going to have to, and maybe we can see some more Peyton Ross running just to fool the Mountain Vista defense, because they seem to be stopping the running game in the second half here, so maybe that won't be as effective.
Well, here comes Dylan Smithwick, who's brought down behind the line of scrimmage here. About a second and 11, excuse me, play here coming up. So Smithwick definitely hasn't been as effective as Carnell Lewis in this game. And do you think that that's a fault of, do you think that's a product of Mountain Vista being able to get to him better because he's slower, or do you just think that it's a difference in the running styles?
I think it comes down to speed. Carnell Lewis keeps breaking it down to the outside, and Smithwick more is a put your head down and run guy into the defense, and that's just not working against the Mountain Vista defense.
Definitely, yeah. Well, here comes another two tight end set here, trying to load up the line. Probably going to give it to Smithwick again if I had to put my money on anything, and they do. Smithwick gets out to the right, breaks a tackle. He's got some open field there, and then he gets about a 15-yard run there.
When Smithwick does get into the open field, he does have very good speed.
Yeah, definitely. I think Smithwick is a bruising back towards the front of the line, but as soon as he gets into your secondary, you got to watch out for his acceleration.
And looking at the Mountain Vista bench, early on, Stephen Smith got injured, and that was a big part in the defensive line. He's still on the bench with seems like an injury.
Yeah, it didn't seem too bad because he was able to walk off under his own power pretty quickly and all that, and it didn't be seeming to show any noticeable limps or anything, but I think this is just a case of them being, just making sure, trying to protect one of their better players on the defensive line from getting injured again.
Yeah, for sure.
Here comes Smithwick again, who's got another hole, and this one's even bigger. And he's going to blow past most everyone. Barely gets him the safeties. That's about a 30-yard run there.
I think that really just put the game away with momentum changes. The momentum has been in Chaparral's favor the entire game, but with that play, really just deteriorating the Mountain Vista defense.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like about a 60-yard run there. That's something you can't really give up, especially even when you know that they're trying to run the ball to waste the clock out. You can't give up those kinds of big plays.
Yeah, it's just not acceptable.
Well, it looks like Chaparral's trying to figure out what's going on here.
Or they may just be wasting time off the clock.
Yeah, it's always possible. But you got to be careful then for possible delay of game stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, here's Carnell Lewis back in the game. They get him down pretty quickly, but it's still a gain of about 4 here. So even when they do try and run it up the middle and they don't get too much room to run and they tackle it pretty well, they're still getting about 3-4 yards a run out of it. Which, I mean, that says a lot considering even on some of their best defensive plays, they're still able to get, runs that would be able to get you a first down in 3 plays or so.
Yeah. Their offensive line just seems to be
eating up the Mountain Vista defensive line, winning the battle all night.
Definitely, yeah.
And it shows in those last 2 plays by Dylan Smithwick, those explosive runs.
Well, here comes Carnell Lewis again up the middle, able to get some room, and that's another about 4 or 5 yard run. It's going to be about 3rd and 1 here. Smithwick checks back in.
Seems like a timeout.
Timeout here. Some sort. Timeout for.
Well, the Mountain Vista defense really has to check things over with their coach and Coach Cash. And it seems like an injury timeout. Number 32.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have to bring someone off the field there.
That is Alexander Pang, who seems to be checking up on the play.
No, it seems like that's Ryland O'Donnell there, number 32.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good thing. Losing a safety when Mountain Vista's defense already has some pretty big holes on it, it's definitely not a good thing to have. Well, yep, timeout for Mountain Vista here. They got to try and regroup ahead of this 3rd down and 1. And also, give some time for Ryland to get back off the field, get checked out. Looks like they're looking at his head right now, possibly a bit of a hard helmet-to-helmet there, maybe a concussion. Just checking, of course. Yeah, it's getting his helmet off really carefully there. Looks like they're going to take a look at his take a look at him for concussion symptoms. So definitely hope that Ryland is not too badly hurt there. Well, Chaparral comes back out here, 3rd down and 1 on the Mountain Vista 18-yard line. 4:45 to go in this game here. And I have to say, I'm pretty sure this game is about over here.
Yeah, Chaparral with their running game just really took the game away, wasting about 2.5 minutes already in this 4th quarter and still more to go. And they're down in the red zone.
Oh, yep, run here to Smithwick, and he gets a decent hole there. It's enough to get him the 1st down.
So what do you think is necessary for Mountain Vista to have a comeback or have a chance at a comeback in this game?
I think the only thing at this point that's really possible is a turnover of some kind. I think at this point you kind of have to try and force a fumble, get the ball back now, because at this rate they're going to run the clock down, and at most Vista's probably going to get about 2 minutes to be able to drive down the field. And when you're down 3 possessions, it's pretty much not possible. So I think if you want to come back, you have to get a turnover now. So you have 4 minutes to be able to try and get 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it'd be very unlikely. They would have to get most certainly a turnover here and then onside kicks.
Well, looks like they stuffed him there, 2nd and 10. 4 minutes to go in this one. And seems like Vista's going to call all their timeouts now to try and stop the clock and get the ball back.
What do you think about this? Maybe saving their timeouts instead of saving their timeouts for their offensive drive.
I don't know about this because, I mean, you're already down a lot of points. You need 2 touchdowns and a field goal just to tie it. And considering how we've seen Chaparral kick a field goal from about this far earlier and it be going in pretty close but just fine, and now that they're even a bit closer, I would look for them to probably kick another field goal anyways, and then you definitely need 3 touchdowns to win this game. So I don't know if you can really depend on that, you know?
Yeah, Mountain Vista really needs to step up their defensive game, and they really need to turn over here if they want any chance at winning this football game.
Well, yeah, definitely. The first thing on their minds is being able to stop them and hold them to what probably would be a field goal. Because if they get a touchdown here, this game is over.
Correct.
Because you're down 4 possessions then with probably under about 45 seconds per touchdown that you would need to come back in this game. I don't see it happening.
No, with the Chaparral defense being as good as it is.
Well, Smithwick plows over a few there to get about a 7-yard run there. So about 3rd and 3 here for Chaparral. And you got to wonder whether or not Mountain Vista will be able to stop even this, which is a pretty sizable amount of yards here.
Yeah, Mountain Vista, they were stopping the run earlier in the 3rd quarter, but
on this drive, the two explosive runs by Dylan Smithwick, and now just keep pressing the ball into the defense. They just can't stop it.
Yeah, I think definitely at this point Mount Vista is going to need some divine intervention of some kind. Maybe a few Hail Marys. But yeah, first things first, they got to stop them here. 3rd and about 4 on the 10-yard line. They've got to get a stop here against what is undoubtedly about to be a run here.
Mountain Vista now is out of timeouts. That's not good for their offensive series. They want to keep scoring.
Well, good news for Vista here, though, is that Smithwick is still in his running back, so definitely the one who's easier to tackle out of between Smithwick and Lewis, but they're not able to get him there. That's a first down, and I believe this game is pretty much over with that first down.
Yeah, that first down, they'll just keep running the ball, and now for sure they'll probably get a touchdown or at least just waste the clock down to the 2-minute warning.
Well, if there was a 2-minute
Yeah,
warning.
down to the 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would definitely look for them to get a touchdown right here. Probably on this play, actually. And then just, you don't have enough time, really, at that point.
Yeah, they're definitely just going to run it they'll probably just run it for the rest of this possession. Run out the clock.
Maybe a little sneaky play action or something.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
No, well, they sell out to stop the run that time, and it works pretty well. Smithwick only gets about a yard on that one. So 2nd down and about 3 to go here.
It's only 3 minutes left in the fourth
someone's
quarter.
Down. That might be Smithwick actually there who's down. No, it's one of the offensive linemen there, and he's up and fine. And it looks like they might have just brought Smithwick off there for number 5, Carnell Lewis. Definitely the more lethal of these two running backs so far.
Yeah, and it seems like Smithwick is now in the game, seeming to punch the ball. But they now have 2 wide receivers out instead of only 1.
Yeah, Smithwick is still in the game here, so. Oh, they're going to play action, roll out to the right here, and he's going to run it in for the
Peyton
touchdown
Ross
here.
has an easy touchdown right there.
Yep. Can't do too much against that play action rollout pass when you can't even stop the run.
That's Peyton Ross's 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. He's really been ineffective passing the ball, except for the really long balls to Tyzel Lewis and the few to the tight ends.
Yeah, well, that's kind of to be expected considering he's not a quarterback, and you're kind of just playing. You're playing with a good rushing attack already, anyways. You really try to not have him throw it too much, just to make sure that he doesn't, make too many mistakes. So definitely, I like their play calling. Whenever they need to get the ball out in someone's hands that's not the running back, a play action rollout pass is probably the easiest way to do it because you can get the run from the quarterback, or you can usually get a pretty uncovered tight end for like a decent gain.
Now the question is, where does Tristan Smith line up on the kickoff? Because wherever he is, they won't kick it. I think they'll put him in the back to make them squib kick it, because every time they've squibbed it,
you get more
better field position.
Yeah. Well, I think now Chaparral can pretty much just rest easy, take off the rest of this game here. 2 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in this fourth quarter, and down 4 possessions. Basically need 4 touchdowns, so that's about a touchdown every 40 seconds. As you might expect, a little bit unmanageable there.
Yeah. Now this just seems out of the game. And Tristan Smith is lining up in the same spot that he was in the last kick. They have Matt Smith deep again.
I would look for them to put Albrechtson deep, actually, considering Albrechtson and Smith are pretty close to each other in terms of their running style and their way that they use the ball and how they
big
move.
play capability.
Definitely. And I would look to see this one go for a touchback. Oh no, they're going to squib it. Smith gets
Tristan Smith.
Oh, Smith gets laid up there. Another hard hit from Chaparral. They've been hitting really hard whenever they can, pretty much. That was definitely an injury riskable play there.
Yeah.
As you could see, he pretty much got caught right on his knees, and if your knee gives out there, that's a season-ending injury and maybe more.
Yeah, and that'd be terrible for not only Tristan Smith, but the entire Mountain Vista offense, because the offense just runs through Tristan Smith, even though it doesn't seem like it through tonight's game.
Yeah. Well, I'd look for Vista to definitely just try and get some of their second stringers out there and try and get them some experience. Matt Smith is out again.
There's a flag in.
Yeah, tip pass incomplete, but there's a flag on the play. So yeah, seeing Matt Smith out there, I mean, definitely probably more of a just trying to give some of your guys some touches.
Yeah,
but
Matt Smith seems to be the future of the Mountain Vista backfield, so getting him some more playing time as a sophomore is really big for him.
Yeah. And I mean, at the same time, he's definitely probably got the most big playability out of the three running backs. Illegal use of hands to the face on Chaparral. So free first down there for Vista off of a tip pass. Don't exactly know what that was about. Maybe a little bit of a face mask on Caden as he threw that pass there. Smith still in the backfield, bunch right. Wetzel looks right. Throws it behind Smith, and another let off for Vista there as the Chaparral cornerback almost picks that one off, comes off of his shoulder pad.
If Wetzel threw it to the other side of Tristan Smith, he should have had a catch for a first down and even more, but Wetzel just seems to be missing his throws right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that's just some of the defensive pressure from Chaparral affecting his throwing, or do you think that that's maybe a side effect of the fact that he wasn't really supposed to be a quarterback this year?
I think it may just be himself, maybe rushing himself, trying to get his team back into this game, putting them all on his back, even though he's not that kind of player for this team.
Oh, well, some hard pressure there. And flags come out, so let's see what that one is. I would expect it's probably some kind of holding on Vista there because it didn't seem like anything was dirty with that sack there. So I would look for Vista to get backed up here. And honestly, I doubt that they would. If they do get backed up here, I doubt that they would accept it anyways. Oh, no, it's on the defense again.
And Chaparral is losing this game for themselves. Well, not losing this game, but really hurting themselves to this drive.
That seems like they've probably just stopped caring, really. They know that they're probably going to win this game. But
yeah, rest easily.
It looked like there was nothing really dirty about that sack, but it seems like number 57 was the one who was called on that face mask penalty, and he was the one who did the sack. So I guess might have gotten a bit of facial contact on Wetzel as he was pulling him down there.
Yeah, number 57, Mickey McClelland, just unnecessary to have a holding call there, especially when your team is up by 25 and about to win the game. It's just unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, another bunch right here. Wetzel drops back under pressure again, and he just throws that one away.
The pressure by the Chaparral defensive line has been atrocious for Caden Wetzel throughout this entire game.
Yeah, and I mean, we expected that considering they've got 26 sacks in 6 games, and I mean,
and that number is going up.
Yeah, and you would look for that number to increase in this game, especially with considering Mountain Vista's offensive line is usually playing only at a mediocre level, especially considering the fact that they've been able to pretty much stuff the box with their linebackers and use those linebackers as pass rushers. They haven't had to worry too much about these passes. Oh, and another let off there for Vista. Pick almost had there for number 4, Philip Green, the cornerback there on Johnny Evans. Another, I won't say bad, but another misthrown pass there. Evans was definitely well covered by Philip Green there, and the pass literally goes through his hands.
We've seen Matt Smith through in the backfield this entire drive, but he's only been used to buy Caden Wetzel some more time in the pocket as another blocker to get these edge rushers maybe chipped as he goes out for a little slide route.
Yeah, and it looks like Colton Whiteside's out there now, who is usually the one who's used more for blocking situations. So it looks like they're definitely trying to block more for Wetzel.
Yeah, he is the bigger back.
Oh, rollout pass here for Wetzel. And it's tipped
Another
again.
Tipped pass.
Wetzel gets run over there as he tries to get that one out. Well, I mean,
4th and 10 here.
They've definitely not been having luck with these passes, all these tipped passes, almost intercepted passes, the one actual interception. It's not been going well. It's not been a good day at the office for Caden Wetzel.
Yeah, here we have to see. What do you expect on this 4th and 10?
I expect a short pass probably over the middle. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see, really. But 4th down and 10 here. Wetzel takes the snap, looks left for Evans, and he overthrows it. Almost another pick there.
Wetzel keeps throwing it.
Oh, Evans Ooh, Evans having a bit of an altercation there with number 32, Garrett Lowry, the strong safety, but nothing really happens about that one. And Chaparral will get the ball, turnover on downs.
That will be the end of the game with just kneeling it down.
Yeah.
Because Vista has no more timeouts, nothing to stop the clock.
And they don't really even have to kneel. They can probably just run the ball and still, you know, get an easy few first downs, win this game here.
Yeah.
You can tell Chaparral is pretty happy about it. They're already high-fiving and cheering each other and stuff. Game's still got just under 2 minutes to go here, but they're pretty happy with their performance here, and they're going to kneel the ball out to end this game. So, coming out of this game, headed in towards next week, what do you look for Mountain Vista to improve on and work on over this week in training?
Offensively, it needs to be their offensive line. The running backs seem to be doing fine, whether it's Matt Smith, Noah Hicks, or Whiteside. But the offensive line just can't give them a hole or any time from the defensive ends. And defensively, they need to cover the run more.
Yeah, I think it's the same problems that we've been seeing really throughout this season. The run blocking hasn't been great. The pass blocking this game was not too great either. But I mean, to be fair, it's Chaparral's defensive line. They're pretty good, so I don't fault them too much for their pass blocking this game, but it still could use some improvement. And just the run scheming in general, I think, is kind of weak still on the play calling side of things.
Yeah.
And then on the defensive side, like you said, definitely run defense needs to be worked on, emphasized. The linebackers need to know their roles and filling the holes.
And tackling.
And the defensive linemen need to be able to, plug up as many holes as they can on their own. And definitely the tackling needs to be worked on, because we've seen this problem throughout pretty much the entire season. They've just not been able to tackle, and it's cost them a lot of games, really.
Yeah.
Definitely. The game against Pooter, it cost them. The game against Regis, it cost them. And this game here, it cost them. So definitely looking for tackling improvements next week, and just a general improvement on the defense in general. They got burned on a few passes that they probably shouldn't have gotten burned on. So yeah, definitely just general defensive improvements, and improvements mainly for the offensive line and the running game on the offensive side of things.
For sure.
Well, that's the end of the game here at Shea Stadium. The Chaparral Wolverines have won it against the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles 39-14. I'm Brandon Walters.
I'm Aaron Story.
And we will see you all next time. Thank you, and have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.